start by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto
Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Prophetic.
Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to all the Akim out there pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. Just here to prophesy the word. You know, Yahawah, Yahawashi in these corners. You know, because we're in a time of great judgment. You know, like it says in the book of Ezekiel, it was written therein, mournings, lamentations, and woe. Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Isaiah, these prophets and men of the Lord, they wrote these different prophecies of things that will surely come to pass. All right, so when we go into these prophetic scriptures, know that these things will shortly come to pass. All right, and we're going to jump straight into it. Second Ezra 8.
This is Second Ezra 8 and 50. This is for many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world.
Right, so it says, for many great miseries shall be done to them in the latter time that shall dwell on the earth. All right, this is the latter time. This is the latter end as we know it. And we see the level of misery that everybody's suffering from. All right, depression is at an all-time high. Suicide is at an all-time high. Homicide is at an all-time high. These are record-breaking numbers. Break-ins. What have we been undergoing? An opioid epidemic, man. And most people are on these different adverse drugs due to the fact of you know, depression. These are the miserable times that we're living in. All right, you have the wicked that's ruling, that's showering you down with witchcraft and sorcery, lies, you know, defrauding you. Continue on that. Read that over.
This is, we'll start again from the top. This is for many great miseries shall be done to them in the latter time shall dwell in the world.
Yeah, keep on.
Because they have walked in great pride.
Right, because they have walked in great pride. This world is full of individuals that's heavily prideful. They're haughty, high-minded. They make an idol out of themselves. This is a satanic society, man. You talk to each and every individual, you know, outside of this truth, they have their own ideology and way of serving the Lord. And you can't tell them otherwise. You could go into the scriptures, you could read them, the law. You could go into the prophecies. You could go into because the law itself is a moral code. It's a dietary code. It's a civil law. All these different things are encapsulated within this book, and we teach our people of such. But they still back down. They wave their hand and believe otherwise, man.
I got one for you. This Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14 and verse 22. Moreover, this was not enough for them that they erred in the knowledge of Yahawashi Yahawashi. But whereas they lived in the great war of ignorance, those so great plagues called they peace.
See? And this said through their ignorance. You know, the word ignorant basically is to ignore and to rant. Because these people just spew out, like I said, mischievous madness, man. And they go on a tangent. They go on a tirade without any evidence, without any studiousness. You know, the scriptures tells you in Sirach 21 and 16 about a skillful word. And this word is being brought out, you know, through skillful men, through studying, as it is written also in Sirach 1 and 19. Wisdom ran up down skill, but people still cast it behind them. Through what? Pride. It all boils down to that pride, man. It's a lack of humility within the nation of Israel, man. So on that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on. Let me go back to it. Verse 23, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 23. For whilst they slew their children in sacrifices, or used secret ceremonies, or made revelings of strange rites.
Right, and what's the modern day children sacrifices? These abortion clinics.
Right.
You go to, it's an actual abortion clock that you will actually go into on the internet, and them numbers be skyrocketing like the damn the fucking death clock, man. And what's the main women, race of women that's actually aborting children? So-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, man. Through Planned Parenthood and Margaret Sanger. And Plan Bs and all these different contraceptives, all that still falls under the umbrella of child sacrifice, man. All right? And then what does it say? You shall not let your children pass through under the fire unto ball, man.
Right.
So we on that?
Verse 24, they kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled.
See?
But
so the customs, the righteous customs that we were to deal with, that would, as it is written in Deuteronomy 4 and 6, which made us
Estimates.
made that our wisdom within the sight of the nations, we deviated and fell away from that. All right, and started following the ways of the heathen. Now, the style of getting married, you have to go to a courthouse. You're not officially documented as married, and a woman won't even respect you of your own nation,
Right.
Unless you get that paperwork, man. You know, you got all these different, you got all these different signatures you got to sign, as well as putting the ring on her finger and have to be consummated in order to be deemed, accepted by the everybody in this world, man.
Black book, I think it's Black Law, Common Law, Black Book. In Esau's law book, it tells you that you can have a ceremony, you can have a wedding, the pastor can pronounce you man, husband and wife, but if you don't have sex, that's not a marriage. It's not consummated. Right. It's not a legal marriage, which means it can be easily annulled.
Yep.
Verse Wisdom of Solomon 14:24. They kept neither lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another traitorously, or grieved him by adultery.
And that's how people, they grieve each other by murder and adultery. You might have a nice looking, appealing woman. Instead of your brother be like, you know what, hey, that what you got, you know what I'm saying? I look up to that. I want to be like an individual like you. Show me how. They want to just take it.
Right.
The bigger you become in this society as a black, Latino, but Native American, the more of a target you become. What they say, more money, more problems. It's not even supposed to be like that.
Right.
It's supposed to be more money, less problems.
It's supposed to be money for
solve some of the problems with the money.
And that go into that lack of generational wealth, as they put it in this world.
Yep.
And when you in this world and you are one of those people that actually lucky enough, if you want to call it luck, to be somebody of success in this world, you faced with the pressure of supporting your granny, your mama, your dad. The inheritance is supposed to go down to the sons and the daughters. It's not supposed to go up to support the family behind you. That's how inheritance is built, you know?
Which makes it us a degenerate people.
Yeah, man.
Because to degenerate is the opposite of generating.
Right.
You generate, and it's a progression. To degenerate is the same thing as to regress, you know, or basically retrogress. You're going back, and you can never pull forward a nation if they're going backwards, if they're degenerates. It don't matter if 1,000 years lasts on that nation or 1,500 years plus, that nation will never progress with that mindset. And Esau has fed our people that mindset and helped support and give that type of mentality of thinking, man.
Verse 25. So that there reigned in all men without exception blood, manslaughter, theft, and dissimulation.
That's the hood.
Right.
And majority of these hood areas, that's the urban communities that majority of our people dwell, man. You go to Miami, Atlanta, Chicago, all these different St. Louis, these different murder capitals. And Jake brag about these murder capitals. They want to get the numbers up to be actually deem their city as the murder capital, man. Fighting over colors, fighting over streets that don't belong to them, fighting over blocks, instead of actually gathering, as it is written in Zephaniah, the 2nd chapter, if I'm not mistaken, gather yourselves, O nation, not desired. Your city these cities don't even desire us, man. You don't even have a continual city here, man. But you fighting somebody over a street corner, man, that the white man controls and owns.
The funny thing is, like, you have all these cities, like, it'll be predominantly Jake, but the mayor won't be a Jake.
Right.
He'll be an Edomite, and he's from and live in a whole nother county or a whole nother area that he barely comes into that city. And he doesn't fight for you because he don't care about you because you're not his people. Right. He just set up over you.
Corruption, unfaithfulness, tumults, perjury.
What was the other one?
Tumults, perjury.
Keep going.
Disquieting of good men.
Disquieting of good men. So when the actual essence of good men actually is brought up to the forefront of our nation, they do whatever they can to try to push that type of energy down. But everybody wants to support a good black woman. Everybody wants to say the black woman is God. But when it comes to the actual structure of how a man is supposed to be, and a true Israelite man, this culture doesn't deem that acceptable. especially from our people, man. Everybody looks at, you know, you a lunatic, you know, a hilarious type of guy, you know, which is basically a court jester. That's who most of this world covers, man. Whether you're a rapper, a big nigga with gold chains and drugs, a Glock on you, and warrants, you got an insurmountable amount of warrants on you. That's what this world loves, man. But when you don't have, there's women that actually say that I want a thug. I'd rather take a street nigga over a doctor. The whole you know, mentality of this place has shifted, man.
There was a video on that.
It was a video on that.
The video dude was going through, would you rather have a drug dealer or a doctor? Both of them the same thing. One is legal, one is illegal. They both peddling a system, a substance to put into your system. One is legally able to do it inside of a facility, and another one's on the street corner.
Right.
All them chicks say, give me the drug dealer.
Give me the drug dealer. Got it. Put some on that, man. That's it.
A little bit. Disquieting of good men, forgetfulness of good turns,
Forgetfulness of good what?
of good turns,
Good turns, keep going.
defiling of souls.
Defiling of souls. Hey, and it's a lot of souls that's being defiled out here, man. A lot of child molestation going on. You know, just because you don't see it right in your face doesn't mean it's going on. That is not going on. Churches. In these different churches. I was watching. Oh yeah, yeah, they definitely, you know, defiled. I was watching this video with this guy African Nevada. You know, everybody was familiar with that a couple years ago. You know, I seen a video where basically this dude, Son Campbell, which, you know, he basically got molested by him. He exposed him, man. He said that this guy had a book of fucking little boys, man. Basically a photo book. Like how back in school you would actually have those yearbooks, and every year they would have children. This is one man, he had a trophy book of little boys that he molested, man.
Sick.
And they said that they didn't want to, you know, most of the people in the industry didn't want to bring him up on charges and expose him, because if he would have took the stand, he would have cleaned everybody out in the music industry, man. He would have named X, Y, and Z. Damn near all these different individuals that's going on. Because that's a cultural thing that's going on. These different Jakes that's being neglected by their mother and father, and they turn to the streets, and the big homie bring them in. A lot of these guys that be big homies be damn pedophiles, man. That's the wickedness that goes on amongst our nation. Keep on.
Defiling of souls,
Defiling of souls.
changing of kind,
Changing of kind.
disorder in marriages,
Distorted. That's every law being broken. Jake would go out their way to break these laws, statutes, and commandments. Because what? Ignorance is bliss. It tells you in the book of Proverbs how stolen waters is sweet. You know? It only tastes good when you're taking it from the next man. It's not as good when just like a thief. You know, you know, they get the essence, they get the adrenaline from taking. Not because of the substance, not that they actually want the substance, but they got to take it from one individual, man. That's where they get off of.
and what Money Mitch said, I love the game.
Yeah.
That's Jake, man. Jake had that mindset where they just love it. That's why they make the music that they make. They glorify that shit, man.
Said it's a sport for a fool to do sin.
Yeah. Continuing on, disorder in marriages, adultery, and shameless uncleanliness.
Shameless uncleanliness. And that's the track record amongst many more. That's just one passage. What book and chapter that was?
Wisdom of Solomon 14:26.
Yeah, and they also spoke about the odious works that was dealing with the Hamites. But our people got seduced and they started to follow those ways too. But you said you had a precept? Oh, you good? Yeah, good job. Okay. But you going back to saying that.
I got one.
Okay, you got it.
This is Jeremiah chapter 8 and verse 3. And death shall be chosen rather than life by all the residue of them that remain of this evil family,
What it's saying, death shall be chosen rather than life. Keep going.
which remain in all the places whither I have driven them, said the Lord of hosts.
Yeah, and this is the place where the Lord has driven us. It said in the book of, if I'm not mistaken, Jeremiah, we shall be tossed like a ball in a small country. We got tossed here, and our thoughts have been perverted. And this is the cleansing. This is the washing away of the old way, of the old ways. You know, Scripture says, So this is the path, walk ye in it. All right? But our people still neglect the way. They see the light. But guess what? If majority of the people is in darkness, they wanna actually do what is accepted, which deals with conformity, man. Instead of being transformed as it is written in Romans the 12th chapter, they would rather conform to the ways of Esau and Edom. Some more on that?
Yep, verse. You got it.
Yeah, you got it.
This is Ezekiel 18 and verse 30. Therefore I will judge you, O house of Israel, every one according to his ways, saith the Lord power.
Yeah, everybody's gonna have to pay the piper, man. The tab that you're running up, just know that you're gonna have to pay at the end of the day. And our people don't believe that. Because they see wickedness get off time and time again. They see individuals that will commit murder within their community, commit adultery, rob, and they actually get acquitted. They see the wicked, running up amok on the face of the earth, and they get nothing but rewards for it, man. But it's gonna be a judgment. It has to be a judgment. And the Lord is gonna show, because our people don't believe, man. They think that evil is good at this point in life, and good is evil. If you walk the straight and narrow, they feel there's no reward to that. But when you pervert your ways, when you steal, when you scam, do all these different things to get on top, they feel like that's the only way out, man.
I got one.
Come on in.
It says, repent and turn yourselves from all your transgressions,
Yeah.
so iniquity shall not be your ruin.
Yeah, and this is the time of repentance, man. So that we won't get ruined in this place. Because the Lord is going to start breaking these nations down. And he's going to come with an iron hammer. Everybody's going to physically feel it. All right? Or if not physically, it's going to be mentally, spiritually. And you have to be founded upon that rock in order to be stabilized as it is written in Colossians the 2nd and the 1st chapter, man. Rooted and built within the framework of the Lord, man. Because the Lord is a strong tower. All these different, this is in a strong tower. Kingdoms fall. We've seen it. We've seen great kingdoms in history fall. And while people believed that those kingdoms were going forever. The Babylonian Empire, that was one of the, known as one of the, they had the hanging guards of Babylon, which one of the 8 wonders of the world. A lot of people praised Babylon within Babylon. They didn't believe Babylon was gonna fall. But show enough, it fell. Greece, Rome, Medo-Persian Empire. Hell, even in modern time, the Turkish Empire, the British Empire, all these kingdoms fell. How much more America? America is being set up to fall. And we see it. But people are just, go along to get along.
It was always destined to fail because it copied all of the ways of the other ancient empires.
Exactly.
It copies the Babylonian Empire, the Egyptian, the Greek, the Roman, and all those empires fell before. So if you add 2 plus 2, they equals 4, man. America's gonna fall. It's inevitable.
It's inevitable.
But if I get these last 2, I'm going to the point that was looking in that scripture. It says, cast away from you all your transgressions, whereby you have transgressed.
Yeah, the word transgress means basically step over, man. And it's the breaking of the law. It says cast that away. The way, and that really deals with your mindset and the habits that you have formed within this wicked and perverse society. Because we're subject unto this place. And you pick up a lot of wickedness, whether consciously or subconsciously, man. And that's why you fast. That's why you pray. That's why the scriptures speak about, and even David said it, hide me from secret faults, man. We break the law without even knowing it at times, man. All right? We contract all kind of spirits in this place without even knowing it. Go to these different bars and you might want to go get a drink and it's filled up with demons, homosexuals, lesbians, women on they rag, they menstrual. What you think that type of vibration is doing unto you? It's latching onto you, man. And that's why it's a constant cleansing. That's why you have to constantly dive within this book. You have to constantly go, like Pastor Hart did a lesson on going back to the desert man. Going back to them basics. Going back to the principles that you was founded upon so that you don't deviate and stray from the path.
It says, and make you a new heart and a new spirit.
Yeah.
For why will you die, O house of Israel?
Yeah, and it's what it says, why die before thy time? And how do you make a new heart and a new spirit? By rechanging your mentality, man. All the things that you once thought was right, casting those things aside. Because you were taught lies. It speaks about even the children of Edom being inherited lives. How much more you blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans that, you know, fight tooth and nail to follow the ways of Esau, man? You don't know where you going or where you coming from, man. You don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out. But still, you go out your way to defend this devil and defend this society. And we can't tell Jake otherwise. That's why it's going to be a massive cutoff, as it is written in Zechariah 13 and 9, that 2/3 therein shall be cut off and done.
Basically how you change. Philippians 3 and 15. Let us therefore, as many as be perfect, be thus minded. And if anything ye be otherwise minded, the Most High shall reveal even this unto you. Nevertheless, whereto we have already attained, let us walk by the same rule. Let us mind the same thing. Brethren, be followers together of me, and mark them which walk, so as ye have us for an example.
Exactly. We have the book for an example. All right, we had great men that follow the path. It tells you in the book of Sirach, let us therefore praise great men. And each and every man is written of within this book on the things that they did. It shows great decision-making skills. It shows wisdom. It shows humility. It shows repentance. It shows men that transgressed and learned from their errors. This is the book of correction. And we have been walking incorrectly for literally hundreds, thousands of years as a people. This isn't a one-day trip to turn around. That's why the Lord still has us down here, man. The Lord still has us in captivity, because this is a learning lesson. And it's only for a few to actually pick up and learn from the things that they actually, been incorrect on, and seeing the wickedness that they've personally done, and reflecting and repenting and turning from that, man. Because if the whole, which is the 144,000, but if 1/3 of the nation, when Jake wake up and really turns fully to the Heavenly Father, this place is OB, man. And that's the goal set. That's what we should be trying to push and get to. All right, collectively gathering together in the same mindset, putting our pride to the side, and working towards this common goal, which is the kingdom of heaven. And in the kingdom of heaven, we all gonna rule. It ain't gonna be like one man, of course they're gonna be ordered in the kingdom of heaven, but you're gonna have everything that you ever wanted. Why not fight for it now? Instead of on this side where moth and rust is up corrupt.
She wanted to find something. She kept on saying, there's a balance to it. There's a balance to what the brother's talking about. Jake don't know that balance. Jake only knows one side, which is the left-hand side of wickedness, and they're not trying to learn righteousness. Even though it's right here, it's right there before their face, you can't say. That's why the scriptures say, that when this is all said and done, there'll be no cloak for your sins, because you can't say, I didn't see the Israelites out there teaching. Not black Hebrew Israelites, you see the Israelites out there. This thing is unfolding before everybody's eyes. This is verse 18. It says, for many walk, of whom have told you often, and now tell you, even weeping, that they are the enemies of the cross of Yahawashi.
They're the enemies of the cross of the Lord, man. They're adverse to the ways of the Lord. They put the Lord on the cross. They wanted to follow the...
I said, they said crucify him. Let his love be on let his blood be upon us and our children.
Yeah, and then you got a lot of these different blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans wonder why they had to undergo slavery. Why did our people have to get massacred and lynched? You lynched the Lord. It tells you in the book of Galatians, cursed is he that hangeth from a tree. The Lord had to hang. He literally got hung. He didn't get hung conventionally like lynching from the noose, but it's still a form of lynching. So you Jakes had to drink of that cup, and guess what? You haven't fully drunk of it, because you still haven't learned. And what does it say in 2 Ezra, the 9th chapter? The same shall know them death by pain. That's talking about majority of our people. They have this open window, this mercy period.
Let's talk about this. That's talking about only our people. Yeah. Because they tell you that they loathe the Most High's law. Yeah. When they had liberty. Well, you got it.
And our people are all about anarchy.
Yeah. It says, whose end is destruction, who the Most High is their belly, and whose glory is in their shade,
Yep.
who mind earthly things.
Who mind earthly things. Money, clothes, cars, hoes. Fame, notoriety, status, respect, praise. All of that is bullshit at the end of the day. And you've seen the best of them fall. All these different Jakes that everybody looks up to, these Michael Jacksons and these Princes, they went out like suckers, man. They got taken out. They got their assets stripped from them. They were depressed with hundreds of millions of dollars. Michael Jackson suffered from depression. Prince suffered from depression. Look at Bill Cosby. These are the faces of most blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
I was gonna say, look at all these these rappers that are getting slain, getting killed. Because those are the example for the younger generation that strive to want to be like that. You want to be, that's your benchmark. You want to say, you know, I want that life, I want that, you know, because they rap about being drug dealers and stuff that they ain't currently doing, but they might be doing. Because they get gunned down in the street, cold blood. And that's what the youth want to be like.
It's judgment.
If I may say this, they said, I forget who said it, but they said the rap game has changed from rapping about selling dope guns and drugs to actually using them.
Yeah.
Right? Now you actually rapping about you using the drugs, using the lean and the weed and all this.
Yeah, and that was deliberately designed from the white man. This is part of his agenda to keep us doped up and stupefied, man. When you have all these different drugs within your body, it perverts your judgment. It throws off your rhythm. Because what? Most people that take drugs, they don't sleep right, man. Their circadian rhythm is thrown off, which is throwing off their hormonal balance, it's throwing off their endocrine system, their testosterone. Jake be bugged the hell out, man. And you wonder why people be randomly looking at you, looking like straight up demons. One guy before we put on the camera talking about he know individuals he never seen a day in his life, man. A lot of that comes from drug. It comes from this cheap ass liquor and these different beer from these convenience stores. And those aren't nothing but chemicals, you know. And our people still want to, fight to stay in this kingdom, man. That's the crazy part about it. And they know they're oppressed. They know they're depressed. Some more that was down there. Let me go back to that second. That sums up.
Ruth chapter 2, we start at verse 4. Moreover, we have delivered them to be in subjection to all the kingdoms that are round about us, to be as a reproach and desolation among all people round about, where the Lord has scattered them. Thus we are cast down and not exalted, because we have sinned against the Lord our power.
And have not people is cast down. It says, thus we are cast down and not exalted. We try to establish our own so-called black businesses. We try to, deal with some certain economic relief, get together, do anything to actually elevate us as a nation, but it never works. You had Marcus Garvey and the Garvite movement. That man had ships. You had Black Wall Street. You had all these different so-called, revolutionary acts that took place within the black and Latino communities, but we never came up as a people from that point. If anything, we went down. You had Martin Luther King, you had Malcolm X, Farrakhan, all these so-called, the civil rights movement, all these so-called leaders.
You got the so-called
BLM. But we're still not going up as a people. We're still stagnant. We're still in a position of complacency. We still can't get up over that hump. And why is that? Esau, and ultimately the Heavenly Father, because the Lord is using Esau, as it is written in Psalms, with that 17. Yeah. Get that. We'll get back. You go ahead. Keep going.
Jacob stagnant because he's not drawn from the cross of the water.
That's it. They have hewn broken systems that can hold no water. They lapping in a desert. When the Lord actually has a abundant oasis right before you. They're like, nah, I don't want to drink that type of water. That's that clean stuff. They've been used to sewer water, man. After you drink and you expose your body to pollutants for an amount of time, when you eat and drink clean things, it's foreign to you.
Can I say something, bro?
Yeah, you got it.
So what Jacob do is Jacob will eat herbs, drink clean alkaline water that's good for replenishment in your system, and they'll start having a headache. They'll start feeling, they're like, oh, no, that ain't good. That's your body starting to detox and cleanse. It's gonna be that. You're gonna get headaches. You're gonna feel sick because your body is flushing out all the stuff that's foreign, that does not needed to the body, that does not prosper the body. So you're gonna feel sick. If you have parasites, if you kill them, it's called a die-off. Once they die off, you're gonna feel sick. You're gonna feel the effects of that, but you'll feel better. But Jake don't stick to it because you don't like the process.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Jake don't like the. Jake want to be at the end of the race. Go through the. You want to go through the finish line, but you don't want to run the race.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is with Jake. And they wonder why there's no progression. See? It's on that.
It says, thus we were cast down and not exalted.
Thus we were cast down and not exalted because we have sinned. You know,
against the Lord our power.
Against the Lord our power.
And have not been obedient unto his voice.
Yeah, we never abided in the Lord's house, man. Obedience deals with abiding, to be within the abode or the house of the Lord. The Lord has a house that's tailor-made for his people. This place is not tailor-made for us. That's why anything that we do, any type of venture we try to undergo, shit don't work. We're not even supposed to really be even dealing in terms like how Esau deals, man. This whole form of a market and these type of taxes that they pay and getting loans. And you know, in order to come up, you gotta put your people basically in slavery. Which is putting your own people under detriment for you to come up. You see? Some more?
It says, to the Lord our power hath pertained righteousness, but unto us and to our fathers open shame as appeared this day.
Yep, to us and our fathers, it's open shame. It's a damn shame, man. And then you look at your fathers and your grandfathers, and no offense, but you see that they haven't even made it. They haven't got anywhere of 30 years, 40 years working for the man. Busting they ass, man. Working 6, 7, sometimes 7 days a week, especially Issachar. And then you're like, how are you working this much, but you don't have nothing to show for it? First off, depression, and also this white man cunningly knowing how to take your money from you.
Right.
Black, you know, so-called black money does not stay within the community for a long period of time. It's always going out. It's always outsourced, man. It's outsourced to the Edomites.
Jake don't support their own. Plus, Esau always setting up roadblocks for Jake.
Exactly.
Now, you can't get certain things. They're not gonna let you get business loans.
Right.
They tell you that they don't think that it'll be successful. It's not a good investment. But you gotta have a big old portfolio and let them know every step you want to do. But Esau set up redlining so you can't get approved because he wants you out. He wants you in the urban and out of the suburban areas. You know, and then he gentrified. He goes to take what he allowed you to have.
It's systematic oppression.
Hey, and they sell Jake this idea of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. But when you look at statistics, it says 70 or 80% of generational wealth is generated through land, through past families' riches. You're not gonna work 3 jobs and work your way into wealth. But Esau not gonna teach Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans that, because Jake don't understand that the so-called white man is not in the business of preserving your life and making you rich. They're not in the business of doing either one of those things.
If he teaches you the methods he used, he loses his.
They gave him a plot of land, but they still didn't let him own it. You know, they still have to work on it. It was like indentured services.
Yeah. And like what you said, that's systematic oppression. And Deuteronomy 28 chapter speaks about the curses. Speak about it, that also in Lamentations 1. Matter of fact, whole Lamentations 37.
Also, like in Black Wall Street, and then also in Rosewood. See, the thing with what Jake did, Jake owned the actual land, not just the property. Jake was owning the land. And that's what Esau knows. If you own the land, he can't take the property from you. He can't. You won't own no property. You won't default on your property taxes because you won't owe any property taxes. But as long as he owns the land and you own the deed to the property that sits on the land, he can always charge you property taxes. And he can always raise it and fluctuate it and get it to the point where you may not be able to afford it. So then what he does? He makes you take out another loan on your own property so you can try to pay down on some of that, but it's going to put you further and further in debt, so eventually he takes your property. But he couldn't take the property of the Jake and Rosewood because they own that land. Same thing within in Oklahoma and Tulsa when they had Black Wall Street. So that's why he bombed it.
Yeah.
Because what? He couldn't take that land from them. They were Jake actually having their own hospitals, their own schools, their own community, and their money was recycled in that community. Esau couldn't take none of it.
Yeah. I got a quick precept to go with that also. Proverbs 22:7. The rich ruleth over the poor, and the borrower is servant to the lender.
Right.
So that's a way that he keeps you under his thumb, man. You always gotta borrow. Leaving slavery, he just freed you. Here it is, he beat the living hell out of you. And I'm talking about us as a people, but he beat us as a people. He stripped us of everything that we actually worked to have from the west coast of Africa and even all the way to the Holy Land. Took everything. Made us work hundreds, centuries, hundreds of years. No pay, no damn benefits, no nothing, no inheritance, and then freed us. So, you good to go? Yeah, you go ahead, go free. How could you possibly know in a system that's already built up? It's already structured. You built up the railroad, you built up the bridges, you built up the housings, the steel industries, the manufacturing, these different power plants, these automobiles, the logistics, all these different things have been built from the blood, sweat, and tears of your hands. And then now you got to work to, you don't get no type of reparation.
Every nation applied for reparations except Jake. And that's statistically proven, man. Yeah, you have something you want to
Yeah, Khan. Haggai 1:5. Now therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much, and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough. Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink.
Yeah.
Ye clothe you, but there is none warm.
What verse that was right there?
That was verse 6.
Okay, yeah.
I started 4. Is it time for you, O ye, to dwell in your sealed houses, and this house lie waste? Now therefore thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Ye have sown much, and bring in little. Ye eat, but ye have not enough.
When it says you have sown much, you put in a lot of work, man. Sowing is a form of labor. Whenever you see individuals with sowing, that's a manual. That's manual labor. You sow much, but you bring in little. The White House was built by a so-called black man. All right, the blueprint of America was built off of a so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans.
Hey, bro, that's democracy, bro.
Yeah.
That's democracy.
Yeah.
Have the blacks build it, but name it the White House. It was democracy.
And after so-and-so amount of years, now you so-called got a black president, which he was a Hamite, but that's even a form of mockery. All right, we'll give you a nigga, we'll let him serve his term and throw him the hell out of office. And we're gonna put the blame on him. We're gonna make him seem like basically the worst president to ever live. To basically make it seem like, all right, even if we give you blacks a chance, you still fuck it up. So why should we give you a chance and an opportunity of rulership? You seen Barack Obama? You seen any other black leader? And we don't have leadership here, as in this place. The true leadership is from the apostles and elders, great millstone, the men that's been hitting and laboring for these decades, in this ministry, man. Outside of that, we don't have no true leadership. We don't have no measuring stick that everybody wants to go. Nobody wants to, really even have role models, so to speak. You don't really have a true role model. Like, I want to be like. If you want to be like anybody, you want to be like a basketball player, which is an ancient gladiator. That's the best that you really got, or a rapper. A nigga that's totally, consumed by all these different drugs.
What they did with Barack Obama was they let him get in office, but during his term, it was the most. He didn't do anything for people of color. He didn't do nothing for you blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. He didn't do anything for you. And then he made it so that during his administration was the most unarmed killing of black people. unarmed black men being killed in the street and getting off.
Yeah.
That was the most during his 8-year term. So basically, it was just, and he didn't do nothing about that. It was just a mockery.
Just a mockery.
I was about to say this. The one thing that he did do was make Jake come out the woodwork to vote. They used his ass to bring out all these Jakes, to see them like it was a so-called black president, to make all these Jakes that wasn't voting start voting, man.
Because the voting is useless. They do what they want to do, but it's basically it's basically a survey to see how much obedience that they have over you. Are you obeying? Are you doing what we say do?
Right.
That's all it is.
And that led to a bigger system. Now we see where they at.
Yeah,
These are the ones that ain't been
the
voting.
ones. Yeah.
That's how Esau works. And we the only ones that's picking these things up. We picking up the nuggets, man. We sniffing this devil out for all of this bullshit. It tells you in the book of Obadiah how it is, how the hidden things that Esau searched out. The answer is through the prophets, through research. Searching back, looking up this man's track record from the beginning, from his Genesis. Living that skirt of it.
They say by the Spirit of the Lord's mouth.
And exposed to be revealed. That veil being lifted. Some more of that.
Verse 6. Ye have sown much and bring in little.
And the Lord knows that we so much. Just written. You know that Jake be putting in that overtime? Jake love break. Jake be putting in so much overtime, they brag about it. You be on the job with Jay, I'm finna pull another double. Like, God damn, bro. You at work, you be at home.
I'm working 80 hours this week. Like, damn, just this week. Like, bro, with 80 just this week.
But then Jake gets all fucked up when he looks at the tax bracket.
Right.
Like, you done that? Like, you...
Change and play, go exempt and get them for your money.
And then you do it too much, and now you gotta pay all those taxes back. So Jake doesn't really even understand what the fuck he's doing in a lot of these warehouse jobs, doing, doubles and all this shit.
You're doing that, breaking your back, but Esau taking the majority of that out of your taxes because you're not claiming what you should be claiming, so you get the maximum amount of money, and then you switch it back halfway through the year and let them take out more portions when you're not working those long overtime hours. Yeah, it's a system.
If I can say this, Esau don't trade time for money, man.
He doesn't.
Esau does things to where his money can work for him, but they don't teach Jake that. And by the time Jake understand that, they already too deep in debt to even recover. And that's how the system is built. But the Lord did that. The Lord masterfully put that plan in the mind of Esau, so that he could do that, so that this system would be built for you to fall, basically.
Because what Esau does is he teaches Jake. Well, he doesn't teach Jake. He gives Jake opportunities on these hourly jobs and stuff, so you won't think about owning nothing. So you won't think about working for yourself, and let your money work for itself, or being paid what you're worth, not what they say you're worth per hour.
Yeah, and your hourly wages, some of these jobs is why they call it a dead-end job. Some of your hourly wages don't even go up, man. You got individuals that work at these some jobs for 15, 17 years, and they pay ain't even been bumped, man. You think the white man ain't seeing that? Meanwhile, all the money that these employees are making is portions are going towards innovative, research, building more firms, insurance, and all these different things. They're investing, personal income. That's why these devils have something known as a fiscal year, man. They have a fiscal year, fiscal cliff. They do all these different calculations, and they know they net, man. They know their profits, and they won't compromise their profits for you to get a bigger house and to live comfortably. They would rather you, drive from one side of the town all the way to their side, bust your ass, whether you got to get on bus, ride a bike, walk, just so that they can live high off the hall, live in a 12, 13, like we're talking about 13-bedroom house, and majority of the rooms you ain't even going in, just to live like that, man. And this is an oppression. What's going on?
Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you, but there is none worn. And he that earneth wages to put it into a bag with holes.
Right, and that's where you have the taxes.
I'm gonna say taxes is part of the holes. Esau hit you. What is the biggest thing that athletes and actors and rappers, how do Esau always taking them down? He always taking them down for what? Tax invasion. Or defaulting on their taxes. Fucking Wesley Snipes got to do 6 years in jail because he didn't pay $2 million worth of taxes when he got paid out $20 million. They don't let him know that. And then he get people that said place is supposed to do this, and that he's paying to take care of that, and they not doing it.
Yeah.
That's how you get Jay.
That's how you get you. And then you had this rapper known as J. Cole. He made a song called Taxes, and he was basically talking about like you said, when you make them big figures, you make multi-figures, you got to pay bigger taxes, man. And when you got to pay the piper, when you got to pay Uncle Sam, he's severely chopping within your income, man. If you're actually even making a form of income, to the point where everything that you possess, or you are in the act of possession, you're gonna eventually own. And don't try to upgrade, because what? Another thing is all these different things depreciate exponentially, man. You buy a 2020 car, 2021. It depreciates.
Started up and drive off the lot.
Right when you drive it off the lot. You got that definition? Matter of fact, can you read that precept one more time with the wages and definition? Wage slavery.
This is Haggai, chapter 1 and verse 6. Ye have sown much and bring in little.
You have so much and bring in little.
Ye eat, but ye have not enough.
You eat, but you have not enough. Keep going.
Ye drink, but ye are not filled with drink.
You drink, but you are not filled with drink.
Ye clothe you, but there is none warm.
You clothe you, but there is none warm. Keep going.
And he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes.
He that earneth wages to put in a bag with holes.
This is the definition of wage slavery. It says wage slavery is a term describing a situation in which a person's livelihood depends on wages or salary.
See, so when somebody's livelihood depends on wages and a salary, you go on.
It says especially when the dependence is totally and immediate.
Yep, especially when the dependence is what?
It's totally and immediate.
It's totally and immediate. And another thing this devil does is push you 2 weeks in a hole, man. The scriptures speak about in the law that you're supposed to pay a man daily according to the labor that he puts out. It also speaks within the law if you have a Hebrew servant, within our culture, if a man worked upon you for X amount of years, you will reward him with your daughter, riches. You would set him up for success. That's why Abraham, as a righteous man, his servants loved him. They went on a far journey and they came back. They could have ran out. It was like, oh hell no, Abraham treated us righteously. We going back home. That's loyalty. And Abraham was a righteous, integral individual, and he knew how to deal. But this devil, he knows how to rip you off to the point where you will never come up. Your grandmother and your grandfather, it's hard. The majority of them can't retire. You're like, damn, grandma, why you still hitting that clock? They can't stop. Right when they stop, they still got to pay for their mortgage. They got to pay for all this medicine. They might be on dialysis. They might be on all these different drugs, which that shit costs hella money. To the point where all they can do is work to the point of their death, man. Bones hurting. So now they got to take more pills. Run to the white man. Yeah.
The scripture you just read, bro, it said you eat and you drink and not had enough, right?
Right.
Because Esau, he shows you the lifestyle that he'll never want you to get. So you're constantly trying to reach that. But the scripture said that he has more than the heart desire. He's not in trouble as other men. So he has you out there breaking your back to get to levels that he'll never let you get to.
And then he'll do a walkthrough. These devils will come through with a suit and tie. They just want to be deemed, worthy and receive respect. And most of these jakes will be on the job. Hey, how you doing, sir? How you doing, Mr. Smith? Mr. Smith? Hey, how you doing? This man ain't even thinking about giving you a raise, man. He ain't thinking about you coming up. You all dirty, knee pads on, all kind of grime in your hair. You got to get up just to tell this man, hey, how you doing? Just to get back on your knees, man. That's being subservient. All right?
I got a precept. Proverbs 23, and 4. It says, labor not to be rich. Cease from thine own wisdom.
Yep.
Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not?
Right. And one thing about these riches, which you all look at in the riches of these places are based upon deception, man. Unjust wages. All right?
You know what I'm saying? Not real money.
It's not real money.
Not real well-earned money. Silver, gold, cattle, land, that's real money.
Right. It tells you that in Genesis, I think 14 and 12, Abraham was rich.
Wilt thou set thine eyes upon that which is not? For riches certainly make themselves wings. They fly away as an eagle towards the heaven.
Yeah.
And that's what happens to our people. Our people learn in these curses. The Most High set a certain level of wages that you're going to get. The scriptures say in the Lord's Prayer, give us this day our daily bread. So you're going to get what the Most High have in store for you. But Esau make you, desiring more and more, so you'll never be satisfied. You'll never be content with what you're given.
Yeah. And then they let these rappers and these other athletes, and what they call celebrities, paint a facade in your face, man, through this device, this social media. They'll record and they'll make it seem like they live in some high and mighty lifestyle, and you have these little children, you have these adolescents and these jits that actually watch these different videos and they subscribe to that way of life, man. Thinking that in the latter end, that's gonna be a blessing when in most cases it turns into a curse. That's why we not telling you quit your job, all right? You gotta work. We're subject to payments. It tells us in the book of Revelations that we shall be nourished from the face of a serpent for a time, man. But the end all be all is not being here. It says in the book of Jeremiah that the captive exile hasteth. Was that Jeremiah 51, if I'm not mistaken? That he shall, Isaiah 51. That the captive exile hasteth, that he should be loose from the prison, man, and that he shall not die in the pit. The word system means the pit or the grave. We're not looking to die in this place, man. Die a dog's death. It said it's better in the book of Ecclesiastes as a living dog than a dead lion, man. We ain't trying to die like our forefathers, just roll over, in the system. That's why we're fighting. We have a fighting chance to make it out, man. And it starts now.
It tells you in the prayer of Manasseh that it starts with repentance. And that's the whole thing. When you look around these communities, you go to the reservations, you go to the migrant farming communities, you go to the ghettos, you can't talk to our people about repentance because their whole life is built up to get out and go out Friday, Saturday, Sunday and enjoy themselves. They're not looking to please the Most High or to separate themselves from the wickedness of men. So therefore, they're not going to be found no place of repentance for them when the opportunity is open now. But they're not going to sacrifice their free-spirited time to pursue the Heavenly Father and denounce their own personal lusts.
When you do, they're going to try to bring up Matthew 7:1. You can't judge me. You can't judge me.
Tell me nothing. Only
Who are
God
you to
can
judge me?
Right.
It's like, all right, well, the Lord is going to judge you. And I wanted to bring this precept out, going to what the elder brother was speaking of these deceptive riches, and showing the real, true riches on this side. The fully true riches is the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahawashi Yahawashi. But in this world, riches is gold, silver, cattle, hard assets, soft assets, land, certain things that appreciate and grows throughout time, throughout the test of time. That's a true, stable asset, which is something that's riches, known as riches.
And the scriptures even tell you that true treasure and true riches is this work. It's like it talks about gold and silver, and even a healthy body. But righteous works is better than them all. Repentance is better than them all. Because you can have all these things that are generational wealth and you can build up and be competitive with the white man in his society.
but that's still not going to give you immortality and salvation. You see, you can't buy the Most High. He's not a man to be bribed. That's why the scriptures tell you that a gift, it destroyeth the heart. You look at the word gift, it means a bribe. You look at the word heart, it means your mind. Look what happens to someone who, when they first come out, their first rap album, it's all gritty and shit. You know, they're like, man, I'm feeling it.
Hungry, yeah.
Right, because they're hungry. But then they see the potential marketing in them. You know, the so-called white man sees the marketing in them, and they throw them that purse. They say, hey, push this agenda. Wear these type of clothes. Talk about these type of things. We're gonna put you on tour, put your face all over the city. Just do that for us, and it's all yours. And so they sell out their core beliefs and everything that they came from, morals, values, scruples. They sell it all out. You don't think Martin Luther King did that? You don't think any of these so-called leaders did that? Why do they say that Michael Jordan's a black leader? Why do they call Kevin Hart a black leader? Why don't they call Brett Favre a white leader? Why don't they call Tom Hanks a white leader? Why don't they do that for their people? Because they know they've mastered oppression, man. And our people fall for it every time. Every time.
Jordan security called him Yahweh, man.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you know what?
All his bodyguards and security called him Yahweh, man.
Their agenda for these artists and stuff. The reason why they rap the way they rap, because they know that that's a vibration that they want to push out there to make Jake go and enact what they're hearing in these raps to go out and carry out those crimes, so they can be what? Incarcerated, so they can be what? They can be enslaved. The 13th Amendment. So they can basically, okay, take your freedom away from you, and now you're going to be enslaved in our system. Because the jail system, the prison system is big business. There's two types of slavery going on in our people. People getting enslaved with the Bible and the churches. They're being enslaved that way with the church houses, and then that's the spiritual enslavement. The physical enslavement is these prisons. They're taking your freedom away. They're taking it away from you, and you doing that. That's why all these Michael Jordan, he invested $6 million in the prison system. Why? Because he knows there's going to be a return on his investment. Because just like the stock market, Esau's goal is to what? Ensure profit share or profit value, so that when the investors invest, their money continues to grow and not shrink. Same thing with the prison system. Their goal is to continue to keep bodies in the prisons. It's not no mistake that the prisons are filled up with what? So-called Negroes and Latinos, majority, because they know that they're taking their freedom away, but they're the ones that's going out there doing these crimes.
There's Ecclesiasticus 29 and 11. Lay up thy treasure according to the commandments of the Most High, and it shall bring thee more profit than gold.
And this is, like I said, this is the true treasure, man. And this devil has basically made us believe in a false reality. You fighting for these greenbacks, man. You're fighting for things that don't even hold any true worth. It doesn't have any true value. That's why you have to really reassign and rearrange your mentality and understand what true wealth is.
Anybody got enough balls to touch my ass? Jeremiah 9 and 23. Thus saith the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might, neither let the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord which exercises long kindness, judgment, and righteousness.
And this truth doesn't expire. Wisdom, knowledge, understanding is the most prized commodity on the face of the earth, man. It's above gold and silver. Because you can have gold and silver and you can F it off, man. But when you got wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you understand how possessions work, you understand investments, you understand how to retain a certain amount on the value, you understand how to, quantify, so to speak, double up. You understand the ins and outs of things. It don't matter about the treasures. It matters about the mindset, man.
And did a video a little while ago on this devil future, and he said that he don't even do lean or pop pills, man.
Right.
This is Isaiah 45:3. And I will give thee the treasures of darkness and hidden riches of secret places, that thou mayest know that I, the Lord Yahawah, which called thee by thy name, am the power of Israel. For Jacob my servant's sake, for Israel my elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. The Lord said He's gonna give us the treasures of darkness, man.
Yahweh be praised, Yahweh be praised, Yahweh be praised. Joshua way I think Islam take all wrong.
Look at that James. Read that James 5.
James chapter 5.
Because Esau has basically deliberately confused us, man. When you're confused and discombobulated, you don't know where you're coming from, man. Where you going or where you coming from. All right? He has basically rearranged your form of direction. He changed north to south, south to west, east to south, down to up, up to down.
Do you understand the principles of the tribe of Gad?
So when you don't got your navigations right, you don't know where you're going, man. You need a compass. Anybody that is on their navigation, especially explorers and anybody that actually deals in terms of destiny, getting from one destination to the next, they have a compass. They understand north. That's why the Lord set the heavens up for the service of man, not man for the service of the not the opposite way, for the service of the moon and the sun. These different things were set up for us. So direction, navigation, all these things are extremely important, man. That's why it was a strong and divisive tactic for this devil to do what he did and continue doing it. He does not want us to reach the finish line. If we reach the finish line and prophecy is fulfilled, he has to drink of that cup. Who the hell wants to drink of the cup that the blacks like the Native Americans drunk? If I was a white man, I'd be doing the same. If I was a devil, I'd be doing the same.
But that's what they're doing. They're trying to prolong their rulership. That's what all of this is them attempting. It's written on the wall when they end this, and now they're trying to push the limit. Lord, give me 30 more minutes. And he trying to negotiate with the Lord. What about 20? What about 15? You know?
About 10, yep. You want to bring out a quick result?
This to go to the point of the brother was saying. This is Psalms 49:11. Their inward thoughts is that their houses shall continue forever, and their dwelling places to all generations. They call their lands after their own name. So he wants to continue on forever. Like the brother said, he wants. Can I give a little bit more time? Can I do this? Can I do that? He don't want his kingdom to end.
Yeah.
Because why? Mainly he don't want to drink of that cup, like the brother said.
Yeah, I seen one video recently where they was looking to ship sperms to Mars. They wanted to ship off an abundance of sperms. But how? The logic of Esau. Sperm? Women to actually germinate, inseminate, so it could germinate. None of these different things. They just want to send sperm out to a whole other planet in hopes for their rulership to be continued.
So the acknowledgement of anything.
This devil. That's what he's thinking. And if he didn't believe that his rulership was coming to an abrupt end, he wouldn't put billions of dollars into dumb shit that he's doing like that.
And the same correlation of a doctrine that's known as a Bible, I am not allowed to be responded.
Because this devil is full of deception.
And you have an Israelite trying
is a powerful instrument, man.
And still trying to motivate.
When you're under a level of hypnosis, it's hard to break that reality. It's an optical illusion. And then you see certain individuals like David Blaine and Chris Angel and these other master magicians, and they'll put certain people under hypnosis, and they might just snap a finger and activate. Snap a finger, make a stump, make any type of clicking sound or anything of that nature, and they have them basically as like ventriloquists. They're like a damn near a puppet master. And this devil has so many people under his strings, people that's bought and paid for, agents, people that's consciously, or like I said earlier, subconsciously working for this man, under his payroll, under his thumb. That's why he's not. That's why they had to cut out slavery. You ain't gotta beat niggas no more. You ain't gotta beat a nigga and tell him to go, go pick cotton or chop sugar cane, or chop timber and things of that nature. You willingly at this point run to this man.
They trust no pressure now.
Jeremiah, second chapter.
James 5:1. Go to now, you rich man, weep and howl for your misery.
Yep.
That shall come upon you.
Yeah, it says, weep and howl for your misery that shall come upon you. This devil has to pay that price, man. He has ran up a tab upon the face, not only America, upon the face of the earth. There's a massive die-off. He has created a new term called extinction. You look at certain animals, and myself, I watch a lot of animal documentaries, and they always conclude with damn near each and every animal that there's a crisis going on within this community, whether it's the turtles, whether it's the bees, whether it's the dolphins, whether it's the tigers, the lions, the elephants, rhinoceros, hippopotamuses, the list goes on and on. They're becoming more and more scarce. Lands are drying up, lakes are becoming more and more polluted. This world is literally dying out, man.
That's why I say the animals shall be out of place, man. Wild beasts shall be out of their place, man. And look for other habitations, man.
And also more animals are, if I'm not mistaken, it's proven that more animals are in captivity than are free.
Right. For his amusement, like that. Of course, they're not in captivity. He hunts them down for sport.
That's where you have that term game, and also that's where you have the term trophy, or your hunters and trophies. You see these different jakes in today's time, they'll hold up a trophy. The original, the word trophy means meat, man, or basically, matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it up real fast, but it basically deals in terms of body parts. Because hunters, what they would do, whether they would take out a deer or elk, they would take their body parts and they would stuff them as memorabilia, man, as a form of memory, and they would plaster it within the wall. We're teaching the Bible, we're teaching the Holy Bible, or you teaching the
And
Bible.
I'm asking of the
Right.
Bible, and I'm asking of the.
You talking about the?
I'm asking of the 37th Psalm. I'm asking of the tribe of Gad. I'm not asking of the Semnots of Levi. I'm asking of the other that still follows behind with Israel. If you understand the things of Reuben, what about the other to where the concepts of Asher?
Weep and howl for your misery.
Right.
That shall come upon you.
Yeah, it says, weep and howl for your misery that shall come upon you. Keep on.
You have an Israelite trying to ask you in concept.
Oh, he said, "Oh, calm down, calm
Yeah,
down.
because we teach
Don't." Hey,
Alright,
he
we're
said,
doing
calm
something
down,
here.
calm down.
Hey, y'all can go
Why
over
you calm down though, man? Why you got to calm down though,
Your
man?
riches are
You're
corrupt.
disturbing us. That's why. Oh, that's what's going on. Yeah, you're disturbing us.
We'll just keep on.
Hey,
Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth.
Yeah, it says your riches are corrupted and your garments are moth-eaten. How can riches be corrupted? By being deceptively. We'll be that. We'll take that. We'll take that. All right. Because they have taken, as it is written in the book of Sirach, his riches gotten, I think it says illfully by gain, man. Riches gotten, by gain deceptively. Man.
Yeah.
Keep going.
But he said,
Your gold and your silver is canker.
He said, go.
If you go back to the Roman Empire, one thing that they was doing was drastically devaluing the denarius, man. If you look at Roman coinage, you will see how the value of the coinage started to become more and more devalued. And one tactic that they did in ancient Rome was printing out a lot more money so that everybody could have it in more of abundance, man, which devalued the currency.
Yeah. Because if you don't have, it's not backed by anything soluble or true riches, all it's going to bring forth is inflation and debt.
Yeah. And we've seen examples in history of massive inflation taking place upon the face of the earth.
It's going to bring everything around that we're talking about. There's a Sirach 31:1. Watching for riches consumeth the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep.
Right, and there's no such thing as true riches even on this side, man. Dealing in the term of the white man's system, Jake try to get a big boy house, he's trying to do all these different things, watching for your stocks, waiting for your stocks and things to go up.
That's what it's talking about. Yeah. Someone that's always watching their money, you gotta watch it, that Scrooge McDuck. You know, you want to watch that, because they'll tell you people that are into the stock market, they're up early, AM, you know, trading on the index and all that other shit. You can't sleep. Right.
The stock exchange open, the market open, they're up bright and early.
Right.
And that also goes for just the regular man working his ass off. We were talking about earlier, working all these extra hours, right? Jay working all these extra 12-hour shifts, and then they get home and they get a couple hours rest, and they got to get up and get back at it. Like you said, drive it the way sleep, the care of it.
Right. Verse 2.
Insomnia.
Verse 2. Watching care will not let a man slumber, as a sword, just as a sore disease breaketh sleep. You see? So you know you've been so sick or something you can't sleep, but you want to go to bed. That's what it's like when you're constantly trying to watch your money grow. You can't, you got, right, or chasing after it, selling dope or whatever you're doing, you've got to constantly stay awake, your head's on the swivel. There's no rest to the wicked, you see?
And that's why the scripture says that this place isn't our rest, man. And you do all that to get money, it shall destroy you with a sword of destruction.
Verse 3, the rich hath great labor in gathering riches together.
Who's the rich? The ones that was arrayed in that purple raiment as it was written in the Gospels, man. When it says the rich man in the purple, that's talking about the elitists, man. You even had the elites back then. One of the elites in Rome was Augustus Caesar. Augustus Caesar was filthy rich. He had billions of dollars. If you look up his actual net, he was one of the richest men he was up there with like Solomon, Mansa Musa. Augustus Caesar had a lot of money. And one of those tactics that, like Esau, they suck and they get all that money from literally sucking the blood out of the citizens, man, or the people.
The rich hath great labor in gathering riches together.
The rich have great labor in gathering riches together. So for them to gain those riches, diamonds, gold, silver, they labor. And do they physically bust their ass from the ground up? No, they put all these different workers on payroll. If hell, in today's time now they do that. Back then it was extreme, detrimental slavery. Some on that.
Yeah. And when he rested, he is filled with his delicates. The poor labor.
Yeah, they get paid in their sleep, man.
Right.
You got guys like Bill Gates and Warren Buffett. They take an 8 hour. Let's say they take a little cat nap, and they just made $5 million, man. Off of nothing. Passive income. How is it passive income? In most cases, because people are busting their ass while they chilling. And they, at the drop of a dime, they flying over to all these different countries, man. Switzerland, Armenia, all these different tourists, Dubai.
And this is also talking about when he dies too, he leaves his wealth to himself. You're gonna come back 3 or 4 generations. That's why I was saying that they don't slumber. So the rest is actually, in this case, is talking about in his death. He's going to be with his delicates.
That's when you get that term, born with a silver spoon in your mouth. You're born into riches because that riches is recycling as you come back in your reincarnation.
Hey, I was watching Batman Begins today, and Alfred was talking to Bruce Wayne. He said 6 generations of the Wayne family were born into this house. Now, Jake don't have no situation like that. Were you born into the same house where your grandfather's been born into, you don't have that kind of wealth.
You're lucky to have a fucking picture.
Right. Or your great-granddad.
They don't know their great-great-great-grandfather. They don't know.
That's why it's a common custom amongst these elites to envy. They don't let their daughters, they don't let their sons just marry just anybody. Envy the specific family so that they know that they come back into that same family.
They're doing what we're supposed to be doing, making sure that our children are marrying the right people. That's a custom that our people don't do no more. This is Sirach 31:4, continuing on. The poor laboreth in his poor estate, and when he leaveth off, he is still needy. You see? So like the brother was saying, that the poor of our people, they'll work constantly, and they got nothing to leave to nobody. Even though they work all those hours and double shifts, there's still nothing left for them in this work. They can't leave nothing behind to nobody. Because there's an illiteracy that's not known unto our people. Okay, it says, he that loveth gold shall not be justified, and he that followeth corruption shall have enough thereof. You see, and that's kind of the point, going back to like drug dealers and rappers and stuff. They're pursuing that money, but that's not going to justify them, because that's what they'll tell you in the streets, is that, oh, get some money, get some money. Oh, I got X, Y, and Z. Like, it makes them a better person. Like, all of a sudden, they flash a water at you, and you're like, oh shit, let me bow down. Like, oh shit, I didn't know you had cash on you, my bad. Like, what the fuck? That doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything, man.
You know what I'm saying?
And this money that we use today is really a talisman, man.
Right.
You look at these different banknotes, they got all kind of witchcraft on it, man. You got an owl hiding in one corner, then you got this devil, and front and center. Then you turn to the back, and you got Egyptian pyramids. It's all kind of wickedness that's on these different bills, man. Yeah, spider web. Yep, keep you up.
Spider web, you get caught up in it, it sticks to you.
Yep, sticks to
You
you.
can't go, you basically trapped.
I'll give this quick precept to this point.
That's the web of lies.
Ecclesiastes 2. In verse 17 it says, therefore I hated life, because the work that is wrought under the sun is grievous unto me. For all is vanity and vexation of spirit. Yeah, I hated all my labor which I had taken under the sun, because I shall leave it unto the man that shall be after me.
And through the Spirit, King Solomon is the perfect example of who it is to have all of those things but not have the kingdom. He had wisdom, he had riches, but he didn't have the kingdom. And then he came to the understanding that all of this is vanity and vexation. And then the fact that you have to pass it down to your little ones who are catered to the same wickedness that you are in this flesh, there's no telling whether you're going to be born into wealth or not. And that's why it's ultimately up to the Lord. You got it?
Exactly. It's up to the Most High, because with all that money, you couldn't pay people to be righteous. With all the control, with all the power, you know what I'm saying? 40 years of Israel dominating the world, you still couldn't pay Jake to be righteous. That's why he said it. It's still vanity and vexation, because without the Most High, we can't be perfect. Because then everything's just tainted and bribed and unwilling. And there's no enjoyment in that, man. When it's fake, when something's fake, you can't enjoy it. You get with the woman and you find out, like, you're in school or something, you find out she's going out with you as a joke or some shit. You're like, you're crushed, man. You know what I'm saying? But here it was, you thought you were having a good time. The bitch was using you for hot Cheetos. You're over there stealing food stamps from your parents to buy this bitch hot Cheetos and teddy bears. Like a dumbass, you're like, man, what the fuck am I doing?
With your best friend. Your pet.
real quick. It's Proverbs chapter 15 and verse 16. Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith. And that's what all of the takes that have so-called success in this world, all of them are faced with that same trouble. They don't get to wake up when they want to. They don't get to move around the earth the way they want to. Look at a Jake who has money. Look at his cell phone, the amount of calls he gets from his own loved ones that want something that's trying to swindle him. It ain't nothing but pressure. It ain't nothing. If you think Solomon had vanity and vexation of spirit, imagine a Jake being rich in Babylon. It's insane. It driveth away sleep. That's why the Lord said, better is little with the fear of the Lord, man. Because at least you're able to have that sleep. At least you have a hope that it's in something worth something. You got peace. Jake don't have peace. They got to tell their uncles and their aunties no, because they living $1 million check to $1 million check. And when you look at one of these interviews that this guy Future did, he said that most rappers, because they expenses end up being the same amount as what they get paid, they end up living check to check. They depend on the label. Hey, cut me another one. I give you 8 albums. And that's how they end up in these lifetime deals.
360.
You know?
Or that's how they can never own their own master.
Oh yeah.
They'll never get their royalties because what? Because they gotta what? Take loans and out on their against their masters. So eventually they end up just selling their masters, and their royalties are out the door. And so what that means is basically there's no history to their work. It doesn't tie to them. That's why Michael Jackson, one thing he did do is he gave Little Richard his masters back. But he told Paul McCartney, you could buy him. You know, like, that's sell him, right? Sell to him. Hey, right? He knew he was a nigga then, right? But Jake don't do that. Jake says, okay, now I gotta what? Because Jake family. What did he say?
Do we want food? Do we want food?
Good.
Oh, we good. Thank you, though. We appreciate it.
Thank you for the offer.
Thanks, though.
What I'm saying is Jake, it's like I give it to you. What Jake does is Jake have to keep borrowing and borrowing from and becoming enslaved to the record label or the record company, and then they eventually just sell away their whole life's work. Just because why? Because they've been giving away money to their family members every time they call. They've been funding, buying houses, buying all this cars, and paying for all this, the toys and stuff for the kids and stuff. And now they don't really have nothing for themselves.
And that's why they end up, that's why you don't see a Jay-Z or P. Diddy get together and start their own distribution or start their own NFL league. Because the check's big, but they still live check to check.
Check to check.
They don't own anything. When you go into rulership and actual wealth, you have to have ownership.
Ownership.
Wealth is synonymous with ownership. Jake don't know where they cut their lights on that. Not the ones in your house, but who cuts your
Who cuts your lights?
Who filters your water? The fact that you don't own any of these industries says by definition that you're in subjection to another nation.
That's what they call rich people broke. Even amongst these like multi-billionaire communities, you got people that are still living as bad as people in the regular cities and slums because the money they make paycheck to paycheck, and still 30% of their paycheck goes to a car, 20% goes to debt. You know, another 20% goes to their food because they're still living in a broke mindset. They don't know how to. They can make as much money as they want. They don't know what to do with it. They're going to spend it irresponsibly. If you can't manage $100, you can't manage 1,000.
Oh, hell,
if you can't manage 1,000, you can't manage 10. If you can't manage 10,000, you can't manage $1 million. If you can't manage $1 million, you can't manage 100 million. And that's how this truth works.
Like, that's not something that you're born talented with. You're taught these things. Esau, from generation to generation, they're taught these certain things. And Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, they're in a system that was funded by the Rockefellers to teach you how to be a better employee, not to be wealthy. Right. The scriptures actually teaches you how to be wealthy, beginning with the spirit. Being rich in faith is the most important wealth that you can have. That's why Solomon said wisdom was better than rubies and gold. He didn't just come up with a hard bar. He lived that. He could actually go somewhere and say, look, let me see the green ones. And his servant would say, look, Lord. He'll bring it out real nice. Look, Lord, I got the green ones, I got the red, the sapphire. He had these things and he understood that wisdom was better than all of that.
Yeah, that's why what is it? Deuteronomy says, curse shall be thy basket. We're not here to prosper in that time. So the way that we're taught how to be prosperous for the future is in this management. In this ministry, you learn how to manage better. These things teach you how to be better in life. That way you can guide your house. That way you can give good advice and good counsel to those around you. That's where it all starts. And with the integrity, with morality, with tact, with character. And that's what the majority of our people, Latino, Negro, and North American Indian people lack, is character, integrity, morality, in pursuit of righteousness, not in pursuit of westernized culture. Holding the door open for someone and saying, please, thank you, and excuse me, that's not gonna cut it, man.
Yeah, chivalry.
Yeah, being nice, that's a small step. But you gotta pursue that in righteousness, man.
Yeah. I got a precept.
Go ahead.
Jeremiah 2:14. Is Israel a servant? Is he a homeborn slave? Why is he spoiled?
Right, in Israel we're not. We're not a homeborn slave to these other nations. So why are we spoiled? Why are we lacking? Why did we lose everything? Because Jake wanted to go and serve other gods. Our people want to serve other gods and become gods themselves. Our people crown themselves constantly. Shit, it was mind-blowing, man.
Yeah.
And
I got
it's
another one.
titles without responsibility. And that's what Jake loved. Our people love the titles without the responsibility that comes with it. Being a king ain't just a word that sounds good. It ain't just what you wear. There's requirements.
You got all these women that want to be queens, but they don't even know how to be a fucking princess.
Right.
How do you just go from a thought to a queen?
Hey, the same way the Lord is not just allowing us to be Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans and jump from that to actual sons of God in the flesh. We have to take steps. We're being tutored and governed by tutors right now until we're worthy through the spirit of power of Yahawashi to receive that blessing. We have to still learn and gradually get to that point where the Lord's going to find us worthy to actually have those things that come with the titles. Right now, we have to show the discipline before we can receive the reward that comes with the title.
You gotta earn the credentials. Hey, like this brother, he said, how you go from a thought to a queen, but it's really the same thing.
Queen is, Queen is,
That's what it is.
Basically,
They don't know that.
They're thinking of a royalty. Yeah. But you give them that seat of power and position and authority, and they're not going to manage the house the right way. You know, they're not going to keep the house clean. They're going to worry about themselves, and their head is going to be hard against the little ones. It's not going to be a right upbringing, man. So this is like the scripture says. This is where a young man shall cleanse his way, man, by taking heed to the word of the living power. Not living off of bread alone, but by every word of the living power. For they're faithful and true, they're righteous. These are the good works to follow after. You know what's coming, brothers talk about it every week. You know what's coming. But you got people, just like financially, they won't prepare for an emergency. You know how many of our people don't have $100 saved up, $1,000 saved up?
Jake one flat tire for fucking damn near
From broke.
messing them all the way up.
One check away from the book of Eli. That's how our people live, man. Hey, and it's designed that way through the spirit, but then there's a certain level of knowledge and wisdom that can cushion that blow.
Yeah, that's right.
But you have to have the source first, and that's why people don't realize. They think that you can look like a king, and the Lord's gonna respect you as such. It ain't about the outward; it's about the inward.
The inward.
And if you're not right within, it don't matter what you have on the outside. All of this is gonna melt with fervent heat. And the only thing that's gonna stand is the Lord's mercy on those who He has deemed worthy of mercy.
That's right.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
This is Psalms 12:6. The words of the Lord Yahawah are pure words, as silver tried in the furnace of earth, purified 7 times.
Wait, where is that?
Psalms 12.
Hey, hold up, bro. I got Psalms 12 and 5.
That's the
Start
spirit.
at 5 and reach to the end, bro. No, start at 5 and reach to the end. That's the spirit.
This is Psalm 12 and 5. For the oppression of the poor, for the sign of the needy, now will I rise, saith the Lord Yahawah.
You see? Because the meek shall inherit the earth. That's who the Most High is coming to defend. Is His chosen, His elect, His anointed, them that are sighing and crying for all the abominations done in the midst thereof. When you look around at it's a local metropolises like this, you think they're sighing and crying, or are they having a great time? Just as in the days of Noah, eating, drinking,
Giving and
marrying, right? All that stuff, man.
Fornicating.
And the world has seen the example in Sodom and the neighboring 5 cities, man. So this is why the Most High is going to give the underdog the chance to win. It's going to show might and power, the strength of the Most High, that a small thing will overcome a big thing. It's the David and Goliath story.
David and
all
Goliath
over
story,
again.
yep.
So you had the stone that sunk into the temple of a giant, and now you got a stone being thrown at the feet of a giant.
Damn.
So it's balanced. Ooh.
Like a millstone.
Yep.
Psalms 12 and 5. For the oppression of the poor, for the sign of the needy, now will I rise, saith the Lord Yahawah. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him.
See, to defend, what do they say? Defend the poor and the needy.
Right.
So you look around, and a lot of our people, as we've been explaining, they don't want to admit that they're poor. They're like, no, I got money. Look at my shoes, look at my clothes. And people that are actually wealthy will tell you only bums wear Jordans, man. Only bums wear athleisure and are not athletic. Like that's for poor people. That's why they market it for you to look that you may see, you know, bro. URL rap battles, right?
Yeah.
You know, they always got to come out with the new fit. You never see them wearing the same shit twice. You get these big ass obese dudes with tube tops on damn near because the clothes are so fitted, but they're so fat. They're talking about I've been gaining weight since I've been eating niggas. Like no, you just fat at home not doing shit.
Being a bump on the log.
It's the appearance of wealth. Right. Our people have mastered the appearance of wealth without actual wealth.
Yeah.
Front. That's all. Church. The club.
A facade.
It's all about front. It's all about looking like you got it. Having a car on 28s, but you at your mom's crib. But you still get to ride downtown from 12 o'clock to 3:30 a.m.
Wasting
and
gas.
look like you got it for a moment. The Lord is saying, look, if you just do it this way, you can have it forever. You won't have to be a man for the weekend. Not even the whole weekend, just 3 hours out the weekend. Instead of doing that, instead of working so hard just to come out here and pretend to be rich, if you do the work of Yahawashi with faith and sincerity, he'll give you those, what do you call it, Isaiah 45? The hidden treasure.
The hidden treasure.
You will get all of those things that your heart desires, but first you have to do business before pleasure. The so-called white man didn't get what he got by waiting for somebody. He had to do all of the wickedness that he did to get what he had. On the right-hand side, we have to put in the work of Yahawashi to build something that we can all eat off of. That's what it has to happen that way. That's on the left-hand side. The Lord did that with Esau, and it has to be on the right-hand side the same way.
Exactly.
Hamashiach, then the first fruits, and everybody else after that order.
Exactly.
But Jake don't want to do the work. Jake don't want to be disciplined. They would rather do shortcuts, which is look good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look like I got it. I talk a good game, so she really think I got it.
Mm-hmm.
I can lead her on for a hot 3 or 4 weeks before I actually got to start unpacking or disappearing.
Catfishing. Jake is the master of catfish, man.
And that's why the Lord said, why should you doubt? Why should you? If none of this made you return to the Heavenly Father, nothing will. That's what we're witnesses to.
Yeah. I got it's just a definition. It was just a definition of poor because you said really, you know, our people are poor, and just the definition, real fast. Poor in the etymology, is lacking money or resources, destitute of wealth, needy, like these stimulus checks, indigent, small, scanty.
You said indignant?
Yeah, indignant, and
It should be indignant.
Indignant, small, scanty, producing little. Basically, poor is to produce, but to produce little.
Minimum wages.
Minimum wages.
You know,
It was just poor.
low wages.
So that word indignant, which it literally means poor or needy, from the Latin indigentem, meaning in want of or needy. So when you're in want of something, that's also what the scripture would say, wanton, right? Lacking something.
Lacking.
And that's what our people are. People are actually lacking, but they won't admit it. Our people won't admit that they're lacking, and if they acknowledge it, they don't want to know the answer to fix it, because the answer to fix it is pursuing righteousness, is repentance. And even though it's open up and it's a free, you can't give free things to Jake, because Jake here is free, and they're like, nah, last time I got a free trip, I ended up in America, man. I ain't taking no more free shit. You know what I'm saying? So Jake doesn't want free shit. You can't give him free things, man.
They traumatized by that, yeah.
Hey, freely you receive,
Freely give.
give. This is Jeremiah 5:3. O Yahawah, are not thy eyes upon the truth? Thou hast stricken them, but they have not grieved. Thou hast consumed them, but they have refused to receive correction.
And the Lord is beating our nation's ass on every angle. The Lord said He would set up bulwarks and have war against us. Every angle Jake turned, there's the Lord with His fury stretched out against Jake, man. But instead of Jake acknowledging their sins, the brother did a beautiful video on sheep, and where this lost sheep was found with hair all over itself.
Oh yeah.
Didn't know where it was going. Our people refuse to admit that they need a shepherd.
They need a shepherd.
That's what a lost sheep are. They refuse to admit that they need a shepherd to guide them.
Yeah, and I did a lesson a while back on the maintenance of sheep. It takes a lot to raise sheep. They don't have no defense nor attack mechanism. They can't defend themselves within the wilderness. Really, sheep are stupid as hell. They're docile creatures. You gotta give them antibiotics. You gotta shave the wool. You gotta feed them the right way, shelter. They need every little. They gotta be pampered. That's us.
Hey, that's why the Lord gave us the law. Every detail.
Every detail.
You can't just make your own mind up. You gotta do it like this.
You gotta do it like this. Sheep are very stubborn. Yeah.
They're disobedient, man. And they're lazy too.
Yeah.
That's why I said in the video, for that sheep to be gone for 5 years, and the wolf didn't get it, it didn't get devoured by no animal.
Nothing could kill it because
That was the Lord.
Right, you know the Lord was watching out for that sheep.
Lord,
That's why it was a beautiful lesson, man. We have been in the wilderness, walking around for years, not knowing we've been covered the whole time. So back, right.
We don't die. We don't die. We multiply.
It's back in Jeremiah 5:3. It said, but they have refused to receive correction. They have made their faces harder than the rock. They have refused to return. Therefore I say, surely these are poor. They are foolish, for they have not known the way of the Lord Yahawah, nor the judgment of their power.
Hey, Jake refused to receive that correction, man. They refused to acknowledge that we need a savior, man. We need to be saved out of this situation. You still got stubborn Jakes who call themselves conscious that said we got to economically get to group economics, brother. That's how we go. The Lord has given us the leverage of history to see, all right, they tried it this way, what happened? They got destroyed. They tried it this way, what happened? They got destroyed. Like Mashiach said in John the 10th chapter, if you don't go up this way, the same as a thief and a robber. It's not going to work out.
Yeah. And oh, you got.
Hey, because Tulsa, Oklahoma had the wealth, then Black Panthers had the military, and it ain't nothing worked. Hey, Martin Luther King was spiritual.
Non-violent. It didn't work, man.
Malcolm X tried to unite the
Right. None of it.
Yeah.
That was every corner, every avenue of trying to get back in a different.
Nat Turner took it to him through the scriptures and everything.
And he, if you even want to call what he did or did, that was it.
Yep.
And then what happened? He got turned into leather.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
For all of his poor efforts, he got turned into oil and leather.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Made wallets out of him. And that's the Lord showing us, look, there's no other way.
No other way.
There is no other way. Whether you like it or not, there is no other way. Whether you hear or forbear, there is no other way. We're coming to the time where the Lord's not going to suffer our people to continue like this for long.
That's right.
I got a precept. This is John 10:1. Verily, verily I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same as a thief and a robber.
And because the Lord said the laws are not grievous, man. To have faith in Yahawashi, to do lessons for you, the men of the Lord. All right, for those who have the spirit of the Lord, to do those things, to have faith in Yahawashi, to offend less. These things are not difficult. It's harder to be rich in this world than to follow Yahawashi, man. It's really that simple. And the reward is greater. But our people refuse to return, even after all of the correction the Lord has done to our people. How many of you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans got to die to see that? And ultimately, you're going to have to die. For 2/3 of our people, you're going to have to feel it to believe it. If the mercy can't be received, then the judgment has to be received. And you're going to drink every drop. Lord willing, we're not a part of that number. But for 2/3 of our people, man, that's the only solution. It says death is better than continual sickness. And 2/3 of our people are sick, man.
You got an old yeller on, man.
Yeah, you got an old yellow. Like a dog with rabies. You can't stick a dog with penicillin and have wishful thinking. Maybe he gonna get it. Maybe tomorrow. You keep checking on him. He about 5 years into the game. You keep hitting him with penicillin, and he's the same dog that's gonna bite you.
Yeah.
What is the Lord gonna have to do? He's gonna have to reset.
Got to put him down.
You gotta put him down, man.
Like in John 10:1 and Michael 3, it said they are ill in their doings, man.
Right.
It say, verily, verily I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same as a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep.
Hey, and the shepherd is from Mashiach, and there is no other ruler over you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans outside of the big supreme Yahawah. Outside of that, you have no other rule. But you have a lot of our people who would not that Hamashiach reign over them. And that's why they refuse to return.
Right.
Because for you to return, you have to return the order. You have to return the understanding that there is a leader over your nation. It's not every man doing what he thinks is right.
I want to make a point real quick on what you just said. Back in Jeremiah 5, it say, therefore I say, surely these are poor, they are foolish, for they know not the way of the Lord Yahawah, nor the judgment of their God. I will get me unto the great men, and will speak unto them, for they have known the way of the Lord Yahawah, and the judgment of their power. But these, the 2/3, but these have altogether broken the yoke and burst the bond. They don't want to come under Yahawah, they don't want to come under order, man. That's what Yahawashi said in Luke 19:27, but those my enemies, that will, go ahead, you got it.
Luke 19:27, but those my enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me.
Yeah.
See, who is that? These that I'm reading about in Jeremiah 5. Again, Jeremiah 5:5, I will get me unto the great men, and will speak unto them, for they have known the way of the Lord Yahawah, and the judgment of their power, but these have altogether broken the yoke and burst the bonds. Wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evening shall spoil them. A leopard shall watch over their cities. Everyone that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces, because their transgressions are many, and their backslidings are increased.
Right. I was gonna say that's Esau.
Right.
And then the lepers is the controlling the neighborhood.
Right.
Setting this is a trap thing. Like the Most High basically had Esau. Matter of fact, let me get it. His brother called for it earlier when he get a chance to get to it. This is Psalms 17 and 13. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. So the Most High got them in as those animalistic characteristics, as that lion and that leopard is patrolling your neighborhood, because you won't get me unto those wise men that he set up. Matter of fact, read that part again, bro.
And those top predators too. The animals that you name, and those are what they call apex predators,
right.
and opportunist predators.
Lion, wolf, and the leopard. Yeah. So it's verse 6, you're going to go back to 5.
Go back to where it says,
Jeremiah 5 and 6. Wherefore a lion of the forest.
no, go up a little more.
Jeremiah 5 and 5.
It talks about,
Get me to the great men.
yeah.
Jeremiah 5 and 5. I will get me unto the great men, and will speak unto them, but they have known the way of the Lord Yahawah.
And those are men that have what? Have seen apostles out there, and they have got unto those great men, meaning hearken, start listening. And the Most High through the Spirit started opening up their minds, and they woke up to the truth. Those of you who walk past these men, and we right here downtown Orlando on a prime corner, and there are people just walking up and down. You're not getting unto the men that the Most High set up on the corners for you to hearken to. So what does that mean? That means that lion, that leopard, those they're set up for you. Go ahead.
It say, and will speak unto them, for they have known the way of the Lord Yahawah, and the judgment of their power. But these have altogether broken the yoke and burst the bond.
Hey, Jake is basically saying they would rather serve their enemies than the Lord. Because actions speak louder than words. Our people sit in the church on Sundays and say they love the Lord. But when these scriptures actually start coming out, and the Lord say, all right, you love me, stop eating that pork. Oh, well, you know, the Lord nailed the law to the cross.
Right.
I don't have to show no works to show that I believe in the Heavenly Father. All I got to do is say it. That's a luxury that nothing in this life allows you to do. You never allowed in this life to just say something and not mean it. But they think that they can supplant the Lord by doing it. And in these last days, the world is going to find out that the Lord is not to be played with.
And that's spiritual too. It said how they broke the bonds, you know, and because basically Jake wants freedom. The word freedom goes into basically being a free domicile. You want to be free from your own house, and they don't want that defense. They don't actually want a fence within them, around their borders protecting them. They're literally jumping over the fence, and nothing is on the outside, because fences are to protect you from what's on the outside. Jake is jumping to the outside when there's nothing but, like the scripture says, wolves, eagles, leopards, death and destruction. There's nothing on the other side but death. This is the valley of the shadow of death.
And those that are hearkened to those men, those wise men, they broke in the yoke and burst the bond. Because what? The truth made them free. The truth set them free. They came from up under that bondage that Esau set forth on our people. So they don't have that around their neck no more. It's a spiritual yoke. But Esau he's gonna put those cops in your neighborhood, which is those lepers and those lions, those different. Because however you want to slice it, the lion could be the court system. The cops could be the lepers could be the cops. They're all set up to entrap you, so they can put a yoke on your neck, which is to imprison you, and what to eventually destroy you. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, read. So back in Jeremiah 5 and 6, wherefore a lion out of the forest shall slay them, and a wolf of the evenings shall spoil them. A leper shall watch over their cities.
Right. So those are different ways that the so-called white man have put in a danger in your path. Because you have walked the path to see the men out there teaching and learning. You could have learned the truth. They could have set you free to give you a chance to have salvation. But you passed them up. And this dude just fell on his ass right there. But the point of the matter is that you passed them up, and you're gonna run into those lions, those wolves, and those leopards.
Yep, slave
the
patrol.
hedge has been removed.
Right.
Like the Lord said in Isaiah 5th chapter, I will remove the hedge. When you a sheep without a shepherd, you're vulnerable.
You're very vulnerable.
You're completely vulnerable. No matter how proud you are, no matter how strong you think you are, as a nation of people, you're vulnerable. And that's why the Lord calls our nation the lost sheep. Every other nation, they have some sort of horn, some sort of power. Except Jake, because our power is the Lord.
Power is the Lord.
Either you serve the Lord or you're spoiled to the other nations.
To the other nations.
There is no in between for us.
Right. And even on a smaller level, you Jake, something go down in your neighborhood, you hop your ass on the phone and you call who? You call for that leper.
911.
Right.
But Esau, which is the leper, he don't call.
Yeah,
he deal with that shit.
Yeah, he got it on
He got
The good old boys mount up.
Under his bed, get that shotgun and go down there and handle whatever's at his door.
You see what they did to Jake in Georgia? Them good old boys gunned them down.
They called after the body drop.
Yeah, that's what they do. They call and self-defense. Stand your ground because they know they law. No, they the American.
It's their law.
Their law.
Made for them.
Made for them.
It say a leper shall watch over their cities. Everyone that goeth out thence shall be torn in pieces, because their transgressions are many, and their backslides are increased.
Right, because you transgress the Most High's law.
Right. You got that? Go ahead. Got it myself.
Isaiah 3 and verse 1. For behold, the Lord Yahawah bahasham Yahawah hosts, they'll take away from Jerusalem, right, from Judah, the stay and the staff, the whole stay of bread, the whole stay of water.
Right. There's no protection. Ain't no more heads, man. 2/3 don't got no heads, man.
Yeah.
You don't want the head. You said, when you read Isaiah 30:11, it said, get thee out of the way, cause the whole on Israel to cease from before us.
Yeah.
Then you said in Isaiah 65, we are holier than thou. Come on, man.
Hey, and that's why ultimately 2/3 of our people are smoking the Lord's nose, man.
Yeah.
You're an agitation to the Lord, man. Here it is, the punishment was supposed to humble you. But what the Lord said, he said he hates one that is poor and proud. How you poor and proud? Instead of Jake acknowledging that they're poor, they put on the appearance of being rich.
Oh, it says, how is earth and ashes proud?
Right.
Like, bro, you came from the dirt, literally.
Literally. And Jake brag about it. I came out of the mud. It's not good. That's not something to glorify.
Right.
That should make you that should put you in a state of humility. Like, Lord, we need help. We're wrong, we're dead wrong, and we need help. And 2/3 of our people don't even want to show the Lord that. All the Lord sent Hamashiach, and when they say the Lord loved the world so much that he gave his only begotten son, it means he loved Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans so much that the firstborn of creation had to lay down his life for us to have the opportunity to show effort. It's not even about getting a passing grade, so to speak. It's about being able to fail the test and try again.
Try again, yep. That's perfection.
You can't even show forth effort.
That's perfection. I remember a brother years ago broke down what perfection is. Perfection is really, like I just using the terms, what he has said is like art. You might have an art piece and you might mess up, but the fact that you can erase and you can critique it and get better and better to that image is in its perfection. That's true perfection. And this is what we're doing. We mess up, we fall, we get back up, try again. That's what the Lord wants out of us, because he knows we can't be perfect.
Proverbs 24:16. The righteous man falls 7 times and rises back up again.
That's right.
But the wicked are not so.
Wicked shall fall into mischief.
Right. I got another one. This is Psalms 144 in verse I'm gonna start at 6. It said, cast forth lightning and scatter them, shoot out thine arrows and destroy them. Send thy hand from above, rid me and deliver me out of the great waters, which is the wicked, from the hand of strange children, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is their right hand of falsehood. Hey, that's the whole select, man.
I got precept also after brother.
This
After
is
y'all go.
Psalm 144 in verse 8. It said, whose mouth speaketh vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood. And that's talking about Esau Edom, man. And I read that because you read Psalm 17 and 13. These devils is the left hand side of the Lord, man, to bring judgment. This Psalm 144, and I'm gonna say verse 8, whose mouth speak vanity, and their right hand is a right hand of falsehood.
The right hand is the right hand of falsehood. How? Matter of fact, Isaiah, can you get Daniel 8:25? And Natalia, can you get Isaiah 10 and 1?
Yeah.
Because his right hand is how basically, you know, right hand represents power.
Yeah.
Right? His power is by his deception, his lies, and deceiving you. That's why he's known as the devil, because all he does is deceive our people. You know what you got, bro?
Job chapter 13 and verse 4. But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value.
Now, a physician is supposed to heal you, right?
Yeah.
A doctor is witchcraft, which is falsified, but a healer is a physician. He says he's a physician of no value. So that means if he's not healing you, what is he doing? He's destroying you.
Yeah,
He's killing you.
Because the word heal it deals with to be made whole.
Made whole, right? Because to be the disease is dis-ease. You're not at ease.
You're not at ease, yeah.
You're not whole.
Not
Hey,
whole.
that goes into Revelation where it said they suffer not to put us in graves, man. But we all destroyed, we all discombobulated, and none of them, they got history. They know.
Oh,
the
they know.
Vatican, they got the bones of our kings.
Yeah.
But they don't say, look, y'all the children of Israel. This why they don't, hey, them boys on them brothers on the highways and hedges, they got the truth, bro. We'll learn from them. They don't do that, man. They don't suffer to put us in graves. They'd rather us be destroyed because they're fortunes alive.
Right. And that would heal them.
Right.
If the whole nation of Israel found out that if the so-called white man was to push out there, you know what, we're going to set up a segment of this many hours per week of these men teaching, because they're sent from the Most High and they teaching truth. And you black Latinos and Native Americans and Seminole Indians, you need to listen to them, because you are God's chosen people. If he pushes that, our people will believe it. And if our people will believe it, the scriptures say, if our people will return to face the east, he will deliver us.
He will deliver us.
And he will give us it. But he's not going to do that, because that would heal us. His job is to pull out the plug from the wall, separate us from our power. Our power is the Most High. So he's not going to plug us in. He want to unplug us. He want to not only unplug us, he want to wrap the cord up and put it away.
Hey, that's why I said with the Messiah, they know that our end is not like theirs. They know that when they read Messiah 3.
Yeah, we know that.
That's Daniel 8. It's Daniel 8 in verse 25. And through his policy, also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many.
He will destroy many. Why? Through his policy. He write these policies.
Right.
Like right now, he's writing the policy of this whole COVID-19, right? This whole situation. But here you have the prime head doctor, was it Fauci? Sit up there and tell you that if you take the vaccine, you still can contract COVID-19. And he admitted that the mask is no good, but they write a policy that you gotta wear the mask.
Right.
And they shut down everything. Right. That's what that brother got. Read that, bro.
Isaiah 10 and verse 1. Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that write grievousness they have prescribed.
Right, grievous is that they have prescribed with the forgers of lies. They forge lies through their policy, and that's how the Most High this only identifies one individual. It's the so-called white man, Esau Edom. This is your report card. This is you like to fingerprint people before you book them, but where you're getting fingerprinted right now. We're fingerprinting you, and when Yahawashi come, we gonna book your ass. Right. And then you gonna go what? Into a 1,000-year prison system. Right. Sentence, matter of fact.
And that's a 1,000-year green mile. When you go into the green mile, that's death row. All other nations, they're gonna be in the chain game, so to speak. But they're gonna look at Esau and be like, yeah, you got a couple more years. I don't know how they're gonna smoke it, but they say they're gonna burn them boys. Yeah. Everybody gonna be looking like this. I don't know how
that's gonna keep some of these other nations on their top behavior, because they don't know if they gonna get barbecued. Right. Even though the prophecy says that Esau's gonna get it, the other nations don't know that they're not gonna get it, because they're gonna be serving slavery right along with Esau. Right. So if the Most High might have us get out there and tell you, hey, all y'all getting burnt the fuck up.
Yeah, we might put y'all all in the overload.
We might all get in that other.
I didn't shine the marble enough, and that's what.
Yeah,
you know?
And then that's going to get them to rat Esau. Because Esau, no matter what, he's going to have that deception mindset of thinking that he can climb up out of this slavery and can rise back to the top. Because the scripture said he's made a vile man. He's made he reviled in the earth. Right. And the lowest of lowest, you come from the caves that didn't even speak English. You didn't even have, not English. You didn't have a real tongue to speak. You were speaking like cavemen.
Right. They prayed among the bushes.
Yeah. That's where you came from, all the way to the top. So you really think the Most High is really with you, to the point where you think that you can move the Most High aside and you can take over the Most High's position. He done brought you from nothing to something. So like what's Drake's song? Started from the bottom, now we here. Well, you going right back to the bottom. Right. That's your fate, man.
I got something. You go ahead though.
It says to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows may be their praise and that they may rob the prophets.
That's what they did, man. They write these decrees and they may destroy Jake, man. Yeah. It's all for to destroy Jake. And I always say, these laws they set up in 1776, where was you Jake's at, man? You was in slavery.
You couldn't vote, couldn't petition.
Right. These laws, they decrees, they legislations and they policies, those are their policies, man. Yeah. That don't pertain to you. We had a policy. Our policies is in this Bible, man. Yeah. So at the end of this, Daniel 8:25, he shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hands.
I just had something I wanted to go into as a passage, an example of the policy, because Esau puts these policies out, to deviate and pull us away from our power. And they know that if we worship Yahawashi in spirit and truth, then it's basically over for them. But this is an example. This is Judith 11:8. Says, for we have heard of thy wisdom and thy policies, and it is reported in all the earth that thou only art excellent in all the kingdom, and mighty in knowledge, and wonderful in feats of war. Now as concerning the matter which Achor did speak in thy council, we have heard his words, for the men of Bethulia saved him, and he declared unto them all that he had spoken unto thee. And this is the main point right here. Verse 10. Therefore, O Lord and governor, reject not his word, but lay it up in thine heart, for it is true. For our nation shall not be unpunished. For our nation shall not be punished, neither can the sword prevail against them, being Israel, except they sin against their power. So they know that.
Which our people did. Because somebody get Proverbs 12 and 26. And Isaiah, can you get Proverbs 4 and start at verse 14?
Proverbs 12 and 26. The righteous is more excellent than his neighbor.
Right, because we are more excellent because we have the law. We have order. When you follow the law, statutes, and commandments, you're put in order and you're aligned in the righteous ways according to the Most High. You're being obedient children for the Most High. Just like a regular person come home and their kids that did all their chores and did everything they asked them to do, what are they gonna do? They're gonna reward them. But if the kid ain't did none of their chores, their homework is not done, what's going to happen? They're going to come home and they're going to bring that discipline on. Same thing with us. Go ahead.
But the way of the wicked seducing.
So Esau starts seducing our people. Our people are faggots in this earth because of what? Because the so-called white man has pushed that vibration, and those spirits have jumped on our people, and he give them what? Unrighteous degrees and policies.
Gay rights.
So that they can do that and not be ashamed about it.
Yep.
Because when years ago a homosexual did not do that outwardly. That was just something that he did behind the scenes. That's why they call them down low.
Down low.
Now they call them out the closet, meaning a closet is something that's hid. You go in the closet, you don't see what's in there. You got to open the door, turn on the light to see what's going on in there. But they're out the closet now.
Out the closet.
They're walking around amongst us, living like they're normal and like we're unnormal because we don't agree with it.
Yeah. So now they got this term. Was it extra straight? What was it? Super straight, man. We can't even be straight anymore. We got to be super straight, man.
And that's why I say he's a physician of no value.
Physician of no value.
Like these things the Lord set up, it's as if a man is coming to another man's creation and saying, oh, that ain't right. That ain't right. Why he do the floors like that? Why he do the walls like that? Now see, let me do it the right way.
Do it the right
and
way.
Surely you're turning up things upside down. Right. I didn't look at everything that Esau doing like, wow, that's smart. That's actually what they call it, progressive.
Yep.
We're in a progressive society. It's not progressive. None of these things
Innovative.
are new.
Yep.
All of these things have been of old, man.
As a king is so is the people.
It's people, yep.
This is Proverbs 4 and 14. Enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men.
Right, you're not supposed to follow the thing that the so-called white man deems that's right. Because he done turned righteousness to wickedness and wickedness to righteousness. He done reversed and everything that's supposed to be done the way it's supposed to be done to make it be done the way it's not supposed to be done.
Just an example, because I found this article or this webpage, like the brother say, shit's all backwards. You can't trust what Edom says. I found this article on the tribe of Gad, and they're saying that Gad symbolizes holy sexuality. So how the fuck do you come up with this shit? Reading through the article a little bit, you can already see the madness starts to unfold and how he's connecting these dots that don't even exist. He's talking about how Gad basically means coriander, which is synonymous with the male reproductive organ. Like what the, like this guy's bugged out. But you get our people will get a hold of that information like this,
and call it
which
deep.
is deep information. They'll call it deep. And then they'll get drunk on alcohol and they'll come up here and start talking about the principles of Asher and Gad. Like, what are you talking about, man? Like, go enjoy your 211, you're still reserved, and have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
I got to exactly. I'm going to say this point. What Esau does is he'll come up with all types of, so you don't even know what the hell you are. Like he'll have a pansexual. Right?
Yeah, pansexual.
It's supposed to be homosexual, which is and heterosexual. Those are the two. Right? Now he got a pansexual, pan means all the way around. Sexual. I mean, you go
And have sex with any and everything.
That means you'll get with it. Hey, you know what? You want to freak off with a dog, you get to it. You a man, you want to get with another man, you can do it. You feel like dealing with a woman that day, you deal with a woman. That basically, live freely.
Yeah.
Do whatever you want to do, thy will. Do it how you want to do it.
Yeah, I seen this one thing. I was watching Law and Order, and they got certain people. They got certain people that got mental illnesses, and it's an actual thing where some individuals believe that they don't even supposed to have legs. They say they feel comfortable with legs. They'll go to an actual doctor and get their legs cut off. That's straight wickedness. They feel like I'm not supposed to have an arm.
I got everything under control.
It actually exists. There's actually people that do that. That's a mental illness.
It is.
And you could go to the doctor and
Get a check.
Yeah, you gotta be retarded to handle this shit.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
yeah. So these different people with these different mental illnesses, which homosexuality has been classified as a mental illness.
It is a mental illness.
It is a mental illness.
Really, it's a demon, but it's been classified as mental illness.
Yeah.
Which means it's just another way for you to get those medications on your ass if you go see him, or allows you to do it because they're saying that something's wrong with you mentally.
Yep.
And then now let's just put this in the school so we can teach the kids this, so we can normalize this.
Normalize
How are we gonna make this thing normal? How are we gonna get the public to accept it? That's why it says go no way as the wicked. Read again, bro.
I got precept with that too. Follow not a multitude to do
It's
evil.
Isaiah 5 and 20.
No, I was saying go
back to
go ahead.
Proverbs.
Yeah, I was still trying to go back to
I want to read
Proverbs.
it back up.
Go ahead, you got it.
It's Proverbs 5 and 20. Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, Isaiah 5 and 20. And put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter.
Right, so if somebody needs something sweet,
I mean that shit.
but then they go and they start drinking bitter, then they don't have no desire for the sweet no more because the bitter done took over. So what Esau has done is he's turned some sweet, which is a man and a woman, natural, which is natural production, the way a man and a woman is supposed to be, to making it bitter, which is what? Homosexuality.
Yeah.
So now people accepting homosexuality as if it's the sweet.
Yeah.
And then you being heterosexual is being looked at as the bitter.
And it's anti-life. You could put 150, like one of the men in the camp always bring this example out. You could put 1,000, you could put 1,000,000 homosexuals on an island, give them their own island, leave that island, come back 1,000 years later. That it's over.
No life going on.
No life. It doesn't promote life. So what does it do? It promotes death, man.
So back in Proverbs 4 and 14.
Wait. Sorry, hold that. Keep that Proverbs real close.
This Isaiah 29 and 16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay.
Yeah, you turn things upside down. It's like you got things operating in the opposite of way that it was designed to operate. Right. Because you're the wicked. You have to something that's right, you gotta make wrong. And something that's wrong, you gotta make right. Your objective is to deceive.
And this is the potter's clay. So the Lord turned you that way for that purpose.
And Romans it said when you knew the Lord, you glorified him not as God.
Right. Yeah, I think that's the first chapter, right?
Romans, yeah.
Where it also says that he gave them up to vile affections.
Because when we knew the Lord in the ancient world, they didn't glorify the Lord as he was before, man. They would worship the Lord by day, and by nights they'd be in the groves, eating mouse, having orgies, sneaking off and worship Molech.
Yep. Sacrificing.
Burning incense to false gods.
Yeah. I got a quote dealing exactly with that Proverbs where it's speaking about the turning of things upside down. It's just a quick quote. It says, everything is backwards. Everything is upside down. Doctors destroy health. Lawyers destroy justice. Psychiatrists destroy minds. Scientists destroy truth. Major media destroys information. Religions destroy spirituality. And governments destroy freedom.
Hey, what is that?
That was a quote by Michael Elner.
Just in the chat. I need that.
Gone.
That's on point.
Yeah.
But nobody wants to put an address on it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Everybody wants to say the world just crazy. It's just crazy out here. Nobody want to put an address on it. Who's doing this? This is a nation of people that's doing this. There's a one nation of people that got into power and decided to go all the way left.
Mm-hmm.
They just skip all and go straight to wickedness as far and as fast as they can, man. And this world shows you that it'll never be enough, man. They'll never stop. This is the world that we live in where it's never enough.
It's never
You think
enough.
Destroying marriages and destroying Negro, Latino, and Native American families is enough? Wait, there's more. It's like
always
the
more.
OxyClean commercial.
Yeah.
Wait, there's more. Wait.
That's why the scripture says that let favor be shown unto the wicked,
Yep.
yet will he not learn righteousness.
Because he's too busy occupied with wickedness.
With wickedness.
In fact, get that proverb, bro. It goes right into that, bro.
And God, read this real quick. I'll read that first. I'll come back to that. This Proverbs 4 and 14. It says, enter not into the path of the wicked, and go not in the way of evil men. Avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away.
Because it's going to
Oh, okay. That's
Right.
kind of
You pass by it, you're going to see it, you're going to wonder, and you're going to go over there, and before you know it, the so-called white man will corrupt your mind. Right. He got you thinking that that's okay. You know? Go ahead.
It say, avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away.
Which is why we read Proverbs 12 and 26, the way of the wicked seduceth them.
Right.
You pass by it, and you're going to get seduced.
Right.
Because he's a master He's a master. He's mastered seduction.
Yep, yep.
He knows the high point.
The art of the seduction.
Yeah, like he knows certain colors together will bring forth a desire to you to go there. Like that's why all your fast food colors are orange or red and yellow, or they got some orange in it. But those colors bring forth a trigger in your mind to go over there
And want to eat.
and then now all of a sudden you're hungry. You're not hungry, is that you got captivated by those colors,
The colors.
and that's a food location. So now you're hungry. It's all subconscious.
Yeah.
McDonald's,
Wendy's, McDonald's.
Whataburger.
Whataburger, yeah.
What do they all got in common with the colors? Yep, that's all fast food.
All fast food.
Esau
It's all bad
mastered,
food.
Esau mastered flesh. He
Yeah,
mastered the way to manipulate flesh. That's why these billboards, the commercials, the signs, the way, the frequencies, everything, he's mastered the way to deceive the righteous with all of these tricks and these spells.
Right. Hey, so I got a precept. The precept is. Okay, hold on. Read this again. Proverbs 4 and 15. It say, avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. For they sleep not, except they have done mischief, and their sleep is taken away, unless they cause some to fall. For they eat the bread of wickedness and drink the wine of violence.
Right. So that's why the brother mentioned earlier that it's not gonna never change. Because why? Because Esau can never have enough. If there's never enough wickedness going on for him to where he says, okay, I'm satisfied, this is enough wickedness going on. Because he loses his sleep unless he come up with ways to what? To bring forth mischief in the earth.
What do you say? Cutting edge technology.
Yeah, cutting edge technology. Right. Most people don't know. They thinking all these planes are flying over their head. They don't know that those are chemtrails.
Oh no.
They're releasing barren oxide and nanobot technology for you to inhale it and breathe it in your system and get logged up into your cells.
Yeah. And that's why
People don't know this stuff.
it's like I was gonna say that's why America has such a heavy die-off when the coronavirus actually touched down. Because of everybody's immune system has been gradually broken down. Yeah. Little by little.
These weekends promote happy hour, free drinks, keep you all kinds of fucked up, and you're not doing anything to eat the right food. Avocados at Walmart are like 48, 58 cents a piece. And it's a whole pile of that shit.
They don't get lower.
Yeah, but the Kool-Aid's gone. You see what I'm saying? The sugar, they're out of sugar.
But he said you walk into Walmart, right, and you go to the left, and you have the produce section, right? Like, that's where you find the avocado, you have your fruit and everything. But what's behind that? All the pastries, all the sugars and shit, all the cakes and all the cookies and all the good shit.
What's the
hell they call that, man? Yeah, they got all that, man. The dessert.
confectionery. Yeah. I think it's another
All
word.
that's right there behind you. So you go with, that's like the brother said. They pass up the avocados, it's just falling off the damn thing because there's so many of them on there.
Got to throw them away.
And to go straight to what? To the cookies and the cakes and
Banana, the banana splits and all that bullshit.
all that, bro.
It's
It's all
crazy.
there.
Like because in 2017, when they had the little scare about the hurricane that was going to hit Orlando, they went and bought all the stuff out the stove, right? I go into Publix. I was still staying on Hill on Washington Balboa. I went into the Publix. Everything was gone. All the fruit was sitting there. Nobody touched none of the
Niggas
fruit.
is niggas, man.
But the chips, when I said the sodas, everything was gone. But you had bananas, grapes, oranges, they all was sitting there.
2/3 rated. That's how you know.
What you said they had took all the check sodas except strawberry?
Yeah.
Except for the stuff that's actually good for
That strawberry chicken.
well, that shit.
All the good and plenty and all that.
I want to bring a precept out from the Proverbs 4:14.
Check that
Real
shit.
quick, I want to read this one. It say, Proverbs 4 and 15, it say, avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away. So it say, avoid it, pass not by it, turn from it, and pass away.
That sound dangerous.
Deuteronomy 29 and verse 16.
The Lord told us, hey, he showed us these nations what they were doing. He said, go ahead.
For ye know how we have dwelt in the land of Egypt,
Right,
and how we came through the nations as we passed by.
right.
And ye have seen their abominations and their idols, wood, stone, silver, and gold,
Right.
which were among them. lest there should be among you man or woman, or family or tribe, whose heart turneth away this day, Lord our power, to go and serve the gods of these nations.
Right.
Lest there should be among you a root that beareth all wormwood.
Right. Bitterness and destruction, man. So the Lord brought us out of Egypt, walked us around for 40 years around all these nations. Look, you see those Hamites? You see what the Ethiopians doing? You see what the Egyptians were doing? You see what the Canaanites is doing? You see what the Moabites and the Ammonites and the Elamites is doing? But Jake, what? Because you said it, because we seen it, we was enticed, and that was the Lord like, I'm gonna let them see it. Just to destroy 2/3 in the wilderness, man.
Hey, because Jake don't realize that wickedness to become the society that this is right now, it starts little by little.
Yeah.
That's why the Lord said to keep evil from out of Israel. You had to check it at the door.
Yeah, check it at the door.
One man commits adultery, you got to deal with that head on, first quarter. You can't let that slide because of mercy quotation marks.
Yeah.
Because if you let that slide, it's going to continue. It's going to grow like a cancer.
Grow like a cancer.
Just like in a work environment. Why do they get to have a cigarette break?
Right.
Everyone has their little thing at work. You notice the boss will favor, they get an extra 5 minutes on break. Or he gets to take 5 shits an hour. You know, they give him all those little things. Like the brother saying, you gotta dead it at the door.
Liberty.
Right. You can't rest, you can't stop judgment, man. You can't hinder judgment and have a respecter of persons, because a little leaven is gonna leaven that whole lump. You see? So you gotta purge out all that leaven.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to kill bad habits. That's what it gets into. People are settled on their leads. People are settled on their own bullshit.
We're the best of the world.
Yeah.
And the laws force you to think as a nation of people. The laws force you to consider not just the generation you're living in, but the generation after that. And that's why the law had to be so strict concerning certain things, because if you allowed it to fester, when your generation died off, it would be worse. You had to check it at the door. You had to consider these things for your generation's sake.
Yeah.
And when you let go of those kind of laws, statutes, and commandments, this is what you have. You have a free-for-all, where Jake treat the world like GTA, minus the stars in the helicopter.
Yeah.
Everybody do what's right in their own mind.
Well, that's why we were never supposed to make any alliances with the other nations, like the brother Hazaria was going into, because it's going to be a trap unto you. It's going to basically, they have no order. They have no law, statutes, and commandments. So they don't have any order. Yeah. So they're not righteous. That's going to take away your righteousness. Go ahead and read that, bro.
Joshua chapter 23, verse 12. It says, 11, take good heed therefore unto yourselves that ye love Yahawah, our power. Else, if ye do anything, in any wise go back and cleave unto the remnant of these nations, even these that remain among you, and shall make marriages with them.
Right, because we've always been amongst them around them. They've always been not too far off, even right now.
Yeah.
We're scattered amongst the nations. That was part of the curse. Go ahead.
It says, and shall make marriages with them, and go in unto them, and they to you. Know for a certain.
Now making the marriage with them is unifying with them. You're making a union with them. When you two becomes one, that's one union, which means what? You're supposed to be as one. They're not going to take on our law, statutes, commandments. So what's going to end up happening? They're going to have you taking on what they believe, and drawing you away from the Most High. And if you have children with them, they definitely going to teach the children their ways. They're not going to teach them the ways of our customs, our heritage, and our law, statutes, and commandments, and how to be righteous within the Most High.
That's what Nehemiah was saying, the book of Nehemiah.
Yeah,
He got pissed off
with it, bro.
Yeah. And one thing.
Second Ezra that goes with it, mixing is the right to see.
One thing about those heathen nations too, what they would do is they would give their daughters to other nations to little by little use their daughters as what they would call inserts or informants, so to speak, and gradually take the throne from that neighboring kingdom.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. That was a marital tactic. You can marry into riches.
Yeah.
So you can be they do what? For one, they used to do it to stop wars, but eventually take over a whole nation.
Take over nations.
Because why? Because the woman is going to be bearing those children, and those children will come out more and more, and those children are going to be taught the ways of what they wanted to be taught.
Exactly.
And they're going to
Yeah.
The virus is gonna gets into the body and it just overtakes the body unless you root the virus out. Go ahead, everybody.
It says, know for a certainty that Yahawah, bahasham Yahawah, our power, will no more drive out any of these nations.
He's gonna give us over to those nations. He told us not to make no alliances, no leagues with them, not to marry unto them. So since you're doing that, I'm gonna give you over to them as your rule. You got it, bro.
No, I bring some after you.
But they
I got
shall be
precept after you.
snares and traps unto you,
Be snares and traps. Go ahead.
and scourges in your side.
Scourges in our side. Is it ironic that all the corner markets, all the liquor stores, all the donut spots, all the stuff that's in the Jake neighborhood, the urban neighborhood, is ran and owned by these other nations? That's why the scriptures say that they help lick the wound. That's why the Most High is he's mad at the other nations, the heathens, because you help forward the affliction.
For that
on us.
affliction, man.
Because we may league with you, and so our people thinking, oh, this is the thing, man. You talk about Nipsey Hussle, right? He carried the marathon, and he was out there actually doing these things. And all you celebrities, when he died, say, oh, the marathon continues, but you're not continuing what he's doing. How come you can't put together $50,000 and open up a goddamn beauty supply store so the women and Jake in our neighborhood can go to your establishment instead of going to Moab, who own all the damn beauty supply stores? You could build it in your own neighborhood but Jake, you got that crab in the bucket mentality.
It's that crab in the bucket.
You don't want any of your people to rise. Because then when they rise, if your people was to rise, then you don't have nothing over them. You're not looked at as a higher esteem as a celebrity.
Self-hate, man.
And that's why Jake get rich and they go back to the hood and flaunt their riches.
Yeah.
Because it's really not wealth. It's just the appearance of riches.
Yeah.
And they compete with each other instead of building.
Yeah.
When you go into the law, statutes, and commandments, you had to build as a nation. If a man needed something, you had to let that man hold that. Right. Without usury. So that man could build up his household. After a certain amount of years, that man's debt is clean. So that man could build up a household and he can have an inheritance to pass on to his family.
Yeah.
But not just that, you knew this man was going to be a faithful servant unto you for a while. You were putting away part of what he was helping you gain. Because him being your servant, he was, and what was the primary occupation back in the ancient days? Farming, right?
Yeah.
He was helping you grow your crops. He was helping you build your
Storehouse, yeah.
So you would put a little something aside for him
Hell
so
yeah.
he can start his own thing after he's been served his 7 years up under you.
Ain't your 401k.
Yeah, so it was like helping up when the crab in the bucket. It was no, I don't want to give you a handout. I will give you a hand up. I will help you get up on your feet so you can do these things and have what I have.
Yep, retirement, all that. Yep.
Yeah, but Jake nowadays, that's not the like this brother's going into. That's not the concept of our people now. Because our people have took on the ways of the so-called white man, which is greed.
Hey, and the so-called white man tricked our people into believing scarcity, that there's never enough.
Yeah.
And since there's never enough, you gotta fight for your family to have it, and you can't share it. Otherwise, your family will lose it. That's the illusion of scarcity. When you go into the scriptures, the Lord didn't deal with us being scarce, having a scarce mindset.
Abundance.
If a brother needed something, you had to let that brother hold something. If you had something, if that brother lost something, you had to return it. These type of things were supposed to build up a nation of people. When you married into a family, that the father of that woman's family made sure you were good because you had her daughter. He had you had her daughter, his daughter. So he had to make sure your family was standing on their own 2 feet. And that's how a nation is built. Right now, you got complete destruction and disorder because of the lack of obedience to the law, statutes, and commandments.
That's right. That's right.
That will be an extension of your family when your daughter married unto that man. And then, like, just a quick testimony. Me and the brother Mahar was in LA, in the Crenshaw district of LA. There was this Jake that had this tea. He was selling these teas, right? And they were ginger teas. And me and Mahar were just trying to ask him, hey man, what is the ingredients you use? We're not trying to start a business. We just want to do it at our house. We live an hour away. He didn't want to tell us how, what he did. And we figured out what he did. He was juicing the ginger, so the ginger could be stronger instead of just boiling it.
Oh yeah.
And it brought those flavors together. And we did it how we figured it out. That's how the Most High works. The Most High showed us the secret. He didn't want to give us the secret because our people don't want to do that. Because he thinking, damn, these young dudes, they gonna open up and I'm putting me out of business.
Right.
Because you lack faith in the Most High. Go ahead, you got it, bro.
It says, and
You got
it says, "There's thorns in your eyes until you perish from off this good land, which the Lord Yahawashi power hath given you."
That's right. So basically, uniting with these other nations was a trap on us. We was told not to do it, and we did it, and the Most High made it become true. So it was basically a snare, a trap onto us, and it became thorns in our side.
That's right.
And we're witness to that. Now we're able to, with understanding, we're able to declare the Lord's counsel stands above all other counsels. Because we're able to sit from the bird's eye view that the Lord has allowed us to see and discern between those who serve the Lord and those who don't. Look at our generations of old and where we are now. We are a product of those bad decisions. And through the Spirit, Yahweh Shemel Shah is coming to correct that and straighten and make these crooked paths straight.
That's right. That's right.
Lord willing, we're part of that number. That's right.
It's last preach up. I think we're good. That was
You got one?
Revelation chapter 3, verse 10. "Because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world to try them that dwell upon the earth. Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast as thou hast, that no man take thy crown."
And so with that, we want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Prophetic. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, who are the elders of Yasharallah, and a sincere salutation to all you who are preaching this word and believing this word in all truth and in sincerity. Shalom.
Shalom.
I don't know how to do it.
And shalom to everybody on the comment board through the Spirit. Bless your houses. Till next time. Shalom.
Yeah.